Okay, so we're reading Hebrews chapter number 12. But as we are reading, we're on the second part, or the second half. My son's in the background, wide awake. We're going to start at verses number 18. For you have not come to what may be touched, a blazing fire, a darkness, a gloom, a tempest, the sound of a trumpet, a voice whose words made the hearer beg that no further messages be spoke to them. And these are in some ways intangible, and in some ways they are very fearful. The reason the scripture is telling us this part is because when Moses approached the blazing fire, when the people came before the foot of the mountain, and they said, "Don't let God speak to us because we're afraid we'll die if he spoke." And the mountain was blazing with big, strong fire and black billows of smoke coming off the mountain. When God spoke out of the storms, when the great pestilence and plagues came, but it was God who was bringing his judgment. When the nations were of Jericho was approached with the loud trumpet that shook the whole city, or when the angels sound the trumpets from the skies. It says, so when the voice whose words made the hearers beg no further messages be spoke to them. That's also in the Old Testament when they said, "Please don't let God speak to us anymore. We're afraid we're going to die." He says, that's not what we've come to. Now, it's great if we have those heavenly experiences, but that's not what we've come to. For they could not endure the order that was given. This is the order that was given to the mountain. If even a beast touches the mountain, it shall be stoned. Indeed, so terrifying was the sight that Moses said, "I tremble with fear." But you have come to Mount Zion, to a city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to innumerable angels in festal gathering. Festal gathering, what is that? Like a feast, the celebrations that we have. Into the assembly of the firstborn who were enrolled in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, and to Jesus, mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. Abel's, what was the word that Abel's blood was saying? Justice, justice. Look at what was done to my body. Look what was done to me. As we know, even the other text, God had to command the earth to drink the blood of Abel. It says of righteous Abel specifically. Because even the earth was like, look at what's happening. And that was the message of the blood. This is wrong, this is wrong. But now we have a different message from a better blood, the blood of Jesus. And the blood says, they are cleansed. They are cleansed. I am the sacrifice. I am the sacrifice. One was taken, the other was given on purpose. See that you do not refuse him who is speaking. Who is the one speaking? Jesus. His blood. His testimony. There's another scripture, I'm going to give it to you, that kind of relates to some of this, and I'm going to just pull it off the side. First John chapter 5, verse 8, it says, let me give you the context. First John chapter 5. Let's start at verse 5. It says, who then overcomes the world? Only he that believes that Jesus is the Son of God. This is the one who came by water and blood, Jesus Christ. Not by water alone, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit who testifies to this, because the Spirit is the truth. For there are three that testify, the Spirit, the water, and the blood. The Spirit, the water, and the blood. And these three are in agreement. So the blood is always speaking. We remember, for many of you, you may not understand this fully, but I've taught it before. I've mentioned it before quite a bit, and you're going to see it because it's a very real thing. But in a nutshell, you need to know that in the Old Testament times, there's the Ark of the Covenant, which stands as a box in some ways to hold the law of God. Some people only say things like, well, it's a superconductor and things like that, and they get into all the scientific stuff about it, and some of that's true, but there's also spiritual connotations. The Ark of the Covenant was the thing that carries the law, the Ten Commandments, and it also carries the Aaron's staff, which represented the priesthood and what was chosen and the fruitfulness of there. And there's lots of other things that it represents. But in this box, there's a tray that's on top. It's like the table, and this is called the mercy seat. So the angels, they're these angelic type beings. They're called cherubim, and they have their wings pointed towards one another, one on one side, one on the other side. Anyone who's seen Indiana Jones, it's similar to how that box looks. It was carried on poles, and you couldn't even touch it. If you touch it, you die. But the high priest would enter once a year with a bell tied around his, a rope tied around his leg, and a bell. So if you stop hearing the bell ring for an extended period of time, you know that the man died before in the presence of God. But what they would, and they could pull out the body. But he would go before them and he would offer and sprinkle the blood on the mercy seat. That blood would stay there and would testify for God, but it can only testify for a temporary time because it was just the blood of animals. But the blood of Jesus that was sprinkled also on the mercy seat when the ground was open, when Jesus died on the cross, the ground was split open. And when the ground was split open, his blood fell down right underneath the spot where the Ark of the Covenant was hidden for all that time. And it was hidden and brought right there. Before they went into exile, they hid it. And you guys can look it up, the documentary by Ron Wyatt. Ron Wyatt testified and prophesied. He was a famous biblical archaeologist before God took him to heaven. But he made many great discoveries. You guys can follow his career. But one day he was there with his friend, and they were in the area, and he prophesied, hey, there's Joseph's grotto. And that's where the Ark of the Covenant is. And he began to prophesy where the location was. And when they found the location, there's a crack in the ground that goes straight up to this certain section in Golgotha, which is the heel where the Jesus was crucified. You could see all the signposts where they put the signpost. This is Jesus of Nazareth, and they put him. What was it? This is not Jesus of Nazareth. This is, somebody's going to quote me in the chat. And they put that the King of the Jews, yeah. And they put him. They put the signs in different languages, as the Scripture tells us, and we can see the signpost holes in different sections, all within that same grouping and then you can see two holes on the side for a cross, and you see one that's in the middle, and in that middle it has the hole where the cross was, where the crack was at. And so Jesus, when they pierced his side, does anybody remember what came out of his side when they pierced his side?
Blood or water?
Correct. Okay, this is going to be found in John chapter 19, 33. I'm holding this up for you. 19 and 34. When they came, they saw Jesus was already dead. They did not break his legs, and that was also to fulfill the prophecy that not one of his legs shall be broken. And in addition to that, let's go to the next scripture. The Roman guard, and they say his testimony is true. They didn't break his legs. When they came, he saw he was already dead. They did not break his legs, but one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once there came out blood and water. He who saw it has borne witness. His testimony is true. He knows that he is telling the truth, that you also may believe. Now, you guys remember the actor who played the role of the Roman soldier who pierced the side of Jesus in the movie, the Jesus of Nazareth movie. He was a famous actor, but the experience the man had when they had him roll the cameras, they basically had some green screen, or was it not a green screen? It was a like a broom or something like that. They said, look here as you're doing this role. So you want to act, but look there. But the man got really silent in real life. And I don't know if this was captured on film or if it wasn't, but this is what the actor testified. He says, they had that broom or the object I had to look at. But when I looked up, it went away. And all I could see was Jesus. And I saw him hanging on the cross. Like, I really saw him. And there he was. And I began to just cry and weep. And I was overcome with, the power of God. You listen to his testimony. It was powerful. And that's a movie I saw many times as a kid. But he says, so when they did start the filming for the part, I really wasn't acting because I was seeing Jesus. I know what I saw. And that's very interesting because that's also what it says in the scripture about the man here, is that he knows what he saw. He knew, he who saw it has borne witness. His testimony is true. He knows that he is telling the truth. Like, it emphasizes, this is real. This is what I saw. I pierced Jesus and blood and water came out. Now remember, for those of you in the scientific or medical communities, you understand the principle here. When water and blood is clearly seen, this means that the heart is no longer circulating to be able to separate the blood and water. And some even make claims in the medical community that this phenomenon really only happens when the heart bursts. When the heart bursts. And that's very interesting. Some have gone further to say and speculate that it appears that Jesus really died of a broken heart. It would seem that way. He who took on the sins of the world, that's a huge weight to take on. He also felt at the last moment the Lord, his Father, turn his back on him. He went up there for a mission and a purpose, but he said, Father, why have you forsaken me? But it's during that time that the Father had to turn his back because the sin that was of the world was now placed upon him. And the Father had to turn his back because he cannot look at the sin. He, in some ways, even though he didn't forsake him, he did feel like that because in that moment, the Father turns his back and now the weight of the sin is there. And he says, it's finished. It's finished. He took the sin. And he who was no sin now becomes sin. It is very possible that Jesus died of a broken heart. The others were still hanging in there, surviving. It wasn't the lashes that killed him, although many times that's fatal. He would have died over time bleeding out, but it wasn't that. In my opinion, it was the sin that he was carrying, not his own. And when they pierce his side, blood comes down, and you can clearly see the water, and you can clearly see the blood, and there's a clear separation. Thank you, Camino. I came out here to say Merry Christmas. I appreciate you all. Have guests for a few days. Can't join. No problem. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Camino. Let's finish up this passage in Hebrews for today. And then we'll do some stuff in the market. See, so the blood is giving the testament. Now it says, see that you do not refuse him who is speaking. For if they did not escape when they refused him who warned them on earth, much less will we escape if we reject him who warns from heaven. Let's read that part again. For if they did not escape who refused him who warned them on earth, how much less will we escape him who warns from heaven? And remember, the Son of God, after he ascended, was taken into heaven. His blood still testifies. The angels testified. Some of the story of Christmas, the reasons why we celebrate Christmas, the angels came to man and said, from heaven unto you a child is born. We know unto you this child is born. After they went back into heaven, the men said, let's go find, these shepherds said, let's go find this baby that's born. And that's a wonderful thing. If we are rejecting them or him who warns from heaven. Now listen to this. At that time his voice shook the earth. And just as Jesus, when he was on the cross, the blood came down, the earth shook. But now he has promised, yet once more I will shake not only the earth, but I'm also going to shake the heavens. Yet once more I will shake not only the earth, but also the heavens. This phrase, yet once more, indicates the removal of things that are shaken. That is, things that have been made, in order that the things that cannot be shaken remain. Now, what is that? Why is something shaken? Why is really anything shaken? Well, there's a filtering process. The best rises. When you take some cereal, and some of you guys eat cereal, and there's no room in the box, what do? You hit it, you shake it, and the pure parts come. Anytime you guys are filtering out something with water and you have all the rocks, the best come to the surface. Filtering separates and it allows for easy removal. Sometimes, depending on the item, the subtle things come to the top and the heavier stuff falls to the bottom. In gold panning, if you take gold mixed with lots of other stuff and you shake it, the stuff that is less weighty always remains closer to the top, and they can easily sift it out. But the heavy, pure gold is always going to remain. Therefore, let us be grateful for receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, and thus let us offer God acceptable worship with reverence and awe. For our God is a consuming fire. And the last verse, for our God is a consuming fire. Hallelujah for that. Thank you, Lord. Father, I thank you so much for this time. I thank you that you are a consuming fire. I thank you that you have accepted the blood that was presented to you as a sacrifice, that you yourself provided the lamb, as Abraham had stated. And in some ways he was prophesying the very same principles that you would do, for you yourself provided the lamb in Jesus. Thank you that the Spirit testifies, that the water testifies, and the blood testifies, and is still speaking. Thank you that the blood is better than righteous Abel, for it's not righteousness for one's own self, but a righteousness that is for all mankind. You gave us your own righteousness. And thank you, for it is in these seasons that many of us remember the day you were born, the day that the angels celebrated, the day that you placed the star in the sky, the day that wise men began to seek you. And they would come from afar to see this thing that has happened. We remember you, Lord. We remember you, your birth, and remember your birthday. We celebrate him. As my pastor was taught by you, but you always told him that the birthday is the most important day. It is the day that you must remember why you came into this earth. It is the day that you must remember what the purpose was. When it comes to the days that we celebrate your birth, we also remember why you came into this earth, what the purpose was. Lest we forget, you gave Moses instruction for his children to remember feasts and festivals and why it happened. You specifically told him so that when your sons ask you, why do you eat this meal this way? Why do you do it this way? Why do you have these new moon feasts? And why do you have all of these feasts in the Bible? So they remember who it is who set the divine order. So they remember what you've done for them. In a similar manner, from time to time, Lord, it's great to set aside a moment to remember. And we remember. Unto us a child is born. Lord, to you we worship. To you we offer our heart with holy hands lifted up. We worship you. I thank you for your Spirit. Many in our community still have not received a strong gift of baptism of the Holy Spirit, your consuming fire. Many of them do not speak in tongues. I ask, Lord, that you would give gifts, for you said, eagerly desire the greater gifts. Give gifts of your Spirit and presence, because you said you give the gift of the Spirit without measure. We are limited only by our own capacity, only by our own tenacity, only by our own hunger on how much we can hold. But you, for your part, you desire to not hold back. And so my prayer that we increase our capacity this year. I pray that we would increase our capacity to receive of your Spirit, to desire what your infilling of your Spirit. I pray that we would increase our capacity to receive. I pray that we would also, in turn, increase our capacity to love mankind. I pray that you would forgive us our many sins against mankind. When we sinned against each other, when we sinned in our lives against man, we were not just doing this against man, but we were doing this against you. I pray that you would forgive us for hurting one another, for not loving one another. May you grant our community peace, serenity. May you grant us wisdom. May you grant us a hearts that are steadfast and hungry for your Spirit. Let us hold you. May they speak with new tongues, Lord. May they speak with new tongues. May they lift their hands in worship, in their worship times, and in their prayers. And with our lives, may they be an accurate reflection of you. When we judge one another, forgive us. When we judge a situation, let us judge rightly the situation. Let us love. Let us love. Let us not be blind, and forgive us for our blindness. For it is time to come out of darkness and walk into light. For those mindsets that we need to let go, let us be not afraid to let go of the old former things and behold the new thing, as you explained so much in Hebrews about the new covenant that you ushered in, that the old was wearing out like a garment. And even you taught that no one puts a new patch on an old garment, and no one puts new wine into old wineskins, for the new things must belong to the new. The new wine must be poured into a new wineskin, lest they burst, lest we run out of capacity to hold, because lest we are flexible enough to hold the new wine. And this is impossible. We must be of a cleansed heart and a new mind to receive what you are doing. And we must be of a new garment to receive a new patch. Let the old be with the old. Let the old patch be with the old garment, and the new wine be with the new wineskins. May we be like the new wineskin. I thank you, Lord, for your peace, which you are doing. And may you bless them, may you keep them. Make your face shine upon them. Look upon them with favor. Be abounding to them with grace. Be gracious unto them. Lift up your countenance towards them, Lord. Give them peace. Let them love mankind this Christmas. I thank you for all of them. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Good morning, everybody. Jeremiah's Grotto says, Armin, thank you very much for Jeremiah for that. All right, we're going to look at some charts, some pictures from yesterday. I'm glad I get to spend some time with my family. Prophet Robin Cunningham commented on my picture. He said, what did he say? He said, your son is a perfect, your child is a perfect blend of you and Melody. I said, oh, that's great. Yeah, I saw it this morning. He commented yesterday. So, one more picture. I'll show you just one more picture that we took at the local church yesterday. Oh, it looks like it's not uploaded. So, huh? The bear. The bear. Oh, it's like it's trying to sync 73 things, so it's got like 20% more. So maybe I'll show you. I'm showing him the bear picture right now. All right, but let's do some market stuff. How's everybody today? Go ahead and put a chat in there. Yeah, I'll look at some cryptos today. We're going to look at some cryptos. Thank you, Jeff, for giving us your dream beforehand. We got to sing some new Christmas songs at my brother's church. We visited his church, and it was really nice. BGB XDC. All right. So the first crypto that I'm going to look at today, we'll pull up USDT.D. And then we're going to look at, we're going to look at USDT.D at the end today. I'm going to switch it up on you. And there's a reason. ABT, FUN, BGB, XDC. All right, Lisa wants to look at FSN. If you guys have requests, I'll try to do some of these cryptos this morning. Today's video will not be edited. House wanted to look at BGB. Sorry, we'll do that one probably first. GBG.
There is no GBG. It's it's GB. What is it? I corrected myself, but I can't edit it.
What is it?
It's BGB.
BGB. Okay, BGB. Oh.
BGB. Yeah, I made a mistake. Thank you.
Moira wants to look at SNX. Yeah, Moira. And STX. Yep. STX. All right, let's have a look at some markets. And about half after that, I'm going to do my look at USDT.D. So I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an apology going forward. And my apology is this, that there's going to be, my mind is getting into the mode, as you guys know, this past week and a half, where the Lord is showing me a lot of things regarding star method. So when I start devoting a lot of attention to star method privately, what it does is it's going to cause me sometimes to blend the two together, that And star method has a lot of lines. There's a lot of lines that is done in star method. It's for years, it's one of the things why I haven't really shown you guys a lot of star method, because it just makes so many lines. So sword method is actually in some ways the simple version of star method, but I needed to separate it years ago. I needed to separate it because it ended up creating too many lines. And there's a lot of principles that I use within it. But when in the last few weeks, I think it's been the last 2 weeks, when I reapproached star method, as Triple J Prophet said, you need to revisit star method. And when I did, there's a lot of principles I saw that I can actually blend from sword method into star method. So I can take some of the best of both worlds and put it in star method. So privately, I'm studying star method, and I'm learning a lot of intricacies, new things that I can't directly apply to sword method per se. But as I'm doing charts, my mind wants to do that. My mind wants to do that. But I'm not at the point where I can properly teach star method. The principles and the phenomena that appear have a lot to do with the centralization. It's like starting. Some of the things in star method I'm doing is I'm starting, instead of at tops and bottoms, I'm balancing in the most perfect equilibrium that I can the center line. So instead of drawing angles that are going to be easy to catch, I'm catching the center. I'm picking points of time and capturing the center of the line. So basically, I'm starting with mid-phantom in a lot of ways. The other thing I do is I involve a lot of the clocks method in star method, and what it does is it ends up creating lots of lines, but it helps me understand when price enters weakness and resistance in much faster and stronger ways. But a lot of times it has to do with pairs of three. So that's one of the other big things. So there's a lot of intricacies within star method, mid-phantom, the mid-phantom transformations that come, the intricacies of looking at the measurements of three, when it comes to the phantom and the DP projection. So it's very much similar, and it helps me catch a lot of information that is happening. It's like tops and bottoms, and I can see a lot of things, but I cannot exactly incorporate that into sword method. But again, I need to apologize, because as I go forward, as I look at charts, sometimes I'm really tempted to get into that mindset. It's difficult to shut it off once it starts. You know what I mean? So it's like a little bit of a waterfall. And I don't want to appear all over the place for new people, because sword method is pretty set in place. There's not really much things you can change about it, but there's a lot of things that you can. A sword method is a compilation of certain analysis that we perform that are explained on our lessons plate. So if you guys are new to our community, you make sure you type in the word lessons in our search post. So in our page, go to the search post and type in lessons, and that's going to bring you to all of our lessons. So I want to make sure that you guys get that. But please give me, as I said about 2 weeks or a week ago, make sure that you are a little bit patient with me, because see, you type in lessons up in the search of our post type, tier, date. You're going to type in the word lessons, and it's going to pull up our lessons page, and then you can scroll down. The one you're looking for is down here. It's that one, not this last one. That's just one of the posts. And then you're going to look. It'll say show more, and under here, and you can get lessons 1. So like here's lesson 1, but at the bottom it'll be a YouTube link, and it'll show all the links for lessons 1 through 16 here on here. And there's actually a 17th lesson, but it's a monologue. Did you make me this? It's a coffee. Thank you so much. All right. So please be patient with me, as my mind may see things that I'm not really ready to teach just yet. As in 2025, we're going to be, we'll have some. I'll explain more of the stuff I'm doing behind the scenes with Star Methods development. All right. Let's take a look at some cryptos. BGB, I'll do my best to explain a lot of the things I'm seeing. It's called BitGet token. Is that what it is, House? BitGet token?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to look at this one specifically on BitGet, but it could be wise to see how much when it was started. Okay, it looks like BitGet has it since January of 2022. So let's pull it up on MEX. I just want to make sure I'm getting an unbiased look as best possible. It may be worth looking at both rather than just the one on BitGet. Okay. Good. Very good. Okay, first thing I want to notice, I want you guys to notice about this crypto. We have very strong volume into health. Okay, very strong volume on the down move into health. So if we're looking at these weeks back here during this down move, we saw a very strong volume with bars that were closing near the origin. Then we even have one large down bar on high volume that comes into health. Then after a period of time of moving, in the macro, there's still a lot of volume here. That means the markets are ready for a higher move. Generally, this happens in an uptrend. Okay, in an uptrend, that generally tells us there's another move coming. When we have our second large down move in April of 2024, or beginning in April 2024, we come down to almost to a very low demand or no demand situation, similar to how we were getting some of these low volume moves here, but I think it's more shown on the BitGet chart. So let's go back to that BitGet chart, and I'll show you. Oh, this is MEX. I'm going to pull the MEX chart. And you can see the same thing. Strong volume here, MEX. But when we do come down into the first real weakness, there's no real demand. And that's a good sign because we came into health. That means that this is just correction. So the real move is still up. The momentum is still up. Look for those moments when you do see down movements, but you've in the passing, especially like on this BitGet chart, the volume is really consistent. And consistency is also I've read this about in VSA. Consistency shows many times where there's active accumulation occurring. Because in the same way that you can pick out down bars and down moves and you can compare those volumes generally, there's another way you can do it. And you can look for high volume consistency. And when you see that, sometimes it's just being slowly accumulated every day. The reason that works is because what you'll do is you'll see big exchanges, they put it like clockwork. They'll put all these orders every single day and they just basically dollar cost average. So they don't care the price, even if it's slowly rising, they'll just put orders because they're slowly accumulating. Now, after a time of accumulation, it may seem like it falls off the cliff. But if we come down into health, so if we come down but come right into health on no demand, it generally is a sign that the supply has been absorbed and one side owns all the supply. Okay, it's like if you own every house just say you and your friends own every house in the vicinity of 10 or 12 blocks in a nice real estate area. And you decide we're not going to sell. Eventually the market will find a balance and you're going to see demand come into the market because you guys hold all the properties. You and your 3 friends own a monopoly, and therefore the prices can rise. It's like the game Monopoly. When you hold all the supply, it's very easy for prices to find higher movements just by withholding supply. So even if it doesn't appear there's not a market, if the absorption of the large bulk of the supply has came into play, that's all you really need. I also wanted to say something. I need more research into this, but I found this past week, I was interested in it. Yeah. This week there was I was watching a video of this guy. He was trying to, he has a way of buying cryptos before they even launch, or before they hit some of these exchanges, basically all the scam coins. And I was like, how do you buy that opening day? He like buys and holds for like 20 minutes, and he makes a lot of millions of dollars. And this guy did a compilation of what he was actually doing. And I said, I didn't even know that's even possible. It's too risky for me. But there's principles that I wanted to learn what he's doing. And maybe that some of you guys are going to end up doing something like that. But at any rate, what he ends up doing is that he does a lot of filters, and he searches for the things that are clearly scams, and he eliminates those from his searches. But he basically uses some basic tools, and one of the tools that he uses is he looks at who's buying the bulk of the supply in some of these initial coins. So even before they launch, no matter what the chart says, he looks to see some of these cryptos projects that are just owned by like 90% one person or 80% one person. There was even a chart that they showed, I think only had 72% for just one person. He says, when I see that, I know that there are one or a single individuals or a single collection of wallets that are just really controlled. That are just controlled by a single person. And when that person, he says, I don't like those coins initially, because what that means is that they can be pumped really quickly but also dumped really fast because only one person owns it. They can manipulate just by holding the bulk of the supply. Now this is a similar principle that's taught in VSA, because if you own a bulk of the supply, you really get a good control of what's happening in the market, or you can really control the market just by withholding. If you're the only lemonades vendor on the street, you really can control the price in a big portion. If one person comes in, generally they start creating a market. The more they are, they create a more higher competition, and the market is more unmanipulated. But really, manipulation in the markets is a good sense when it is accumulated. But luckily for us and in many in VSA communities, you can actually see in the data cryptos that are being bought up or actively accumulated. And then you're going to see that when they move into health, generally they have a higher chance of doing something in a relatively short amount of time. This is a similar principle. So it's really kind of easy to see that they bought it up, and then once it comes down but into health on no demand, that means that somebody's already holding the supply. Okay, and then there's a large down bar that comes right back up into the origin on high volume as well. So that's interesting. So anyway, I want to put that out there. Now I'm going to draw a few lines, and okay, at the moment it appears we may be sitting in a very nice place. Okay, there is some acceleration. I'm going to show you something else about this as well. Real quick. Okay. All right, this current area is a little bit of a resistance area. It should be. This is one of my star reverberations. All right, I'm going to do the DP projection for this distance here. This is where we have quite a bit of verification. So we're going to get another top. Oh yeah. And I'll get you some prices where we might be headed. House $5.64, maybe the DP projection based on this current area. I have a strong sense we actually are starting to accelerate. This is a clue when we come up on a kind of a nice curve here. This is a weekly chart. If I still see this curve on a daily chart, that's what my thinking might be. It's kind of curved. So I might be thinking that's one. Another clue what your next acceleration. So it's like accelerated adjustment lines. There's one, there's two, and then here's the three. Okay, so I'll draw this third one as well for you. See if I can find anything that's more immediate. Yep, that's correct. This is going to be correct. One moment. Okay, I think you're sitting in a support right now, House, for this crypto. EGB. I think it's in a good spot. It has a chance to continue rising. Sometimes chasing markets when they go straight up is very difficult. There's certain cryptos that I believe are in good spots that have a higher odds for them, like XRP and XDC.
Yeah, I think this is really, if there was a correction, this would pull back hard. You know, it would.
Yep.
Do you see $8 to $10?
For this one, 8 is closer. I don't see it just yet. This one doesn't seem to not have enough data for me. Yeah, not yet.
Well, maybe in the future, because that's what I hear, $8 to $10.
Yeah. If you take off, can you ask me again to look at it? If we get a bounce here, ask me again to look at it, because what I need to do after that is the fourth accelerant is going to be somewhere like this.
Does the word maximize mean anything to you?
No. Anybody, does that mean anything to you, House, regarding this project, or anyone familiar with this one?
No, I'm only really thinking about this project because I mean it already has done a massive pump, and even I would be reluctant to FOMO in here. But I'm just thinking about the Binance token. I mean, like I remember when Binance was $5 and it went from 50 cents to $5, and then all of a sudden it was $500, and I'm just wondering if this could. I'll keep an eye on it because just to see if they're going to be releasing. They're becoming quite a big exchange, you know. But yeah, they're being very well.
Mm-hmm.
They're growing, so.
Yeah. There's a way we can track that top if we got it, but I'll make sure I put that in.
Maybe that they're maximizing. Maybe that's what that means, because if their platform, is that what you said, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, like they've definitely become very popular, especially since some of the other exchanges have got these, you know, certain countries can't use certain exchanges, so.
It could be growth, maximizing.
This was added to the ANA registry, so it's probably going to be an exchange that meets regulations.
Yeah, with the exchange tokens, what you often find is they do just keep growing and growing and growing, and it's quite steady growth as well. So, like if you have a look at like, you know, the KuCoin token, Binance token, I suppose as more and more people come onto the exchange and have to buy the tokens so they can get the cheaper trading fees, it does tend to create like quite a continual solid growth from what I've seen.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it can't correct them, but
Yeah, 270 would be a nice price to get it at. If we got a buy signal at around 270, that would be.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna say right now. I want to get above 4, and then if we're building above here, it's possible we can get to 5, 6. But in the shorter term, like on a daily chart, it's possible you're experiencing one more time of price moving up. If it does, I wouldn't put 5 to 10 past us based on just this quick acceleration. So I accounted for 3. I will show you that. Okay.
Unless
And-
maximizing means that it's like that's the max is gonna go maybe in this bull run or something.
1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 I counted for right now. But if you look really carefully, there's one that could be viewed, but I'm loath to do it just yet. Yeah, I'm not going to do it just yet because we would already be in that weakness area. So I'm not going to do that one. But if we take off here, right here, and go high, even if we go just to new highs, then we're going to add that one. Okay, and then we're going to take that, and it could get you to $8 to $10. Here's 10, here's 8, and that's all within the next, before the end of December. So it's possible. But I'm not going to put that on my chart here. I'll just type that. That's what Triple J saw. But as it is, these are some of the map points that I can catch right now. Okay. All right, let's look on another crypto. Anyone else for BGB?
Hey, Song, I think you missed my request for Zen. It's at $32 now.
I missed your
I need to know
request.
if I need to take profits.
Can you do PEPE, not base? The OG.
Oh, yeah. Pepe. Did you put your request at the beginning, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, I do apologize.
We just did it in November. I just need to know, like, are we over the line? Like, should I take profits, or is it gonna keep going?
What was that crypto you said?
Zen, Z-E-N.
Oh, that's an older one. Okay. All right, I'll look at Zen next. For you, Lisa. And then we're going to go on to the next ones.
Thank you.
Well, this is a good coffee. This is the Keurig. Yeah.
It says Black Ripple.
Black Ripple. That's the name of it? Black Ripple?
Yeah.
Okay, we are at a DP projection. This would be a place where you'd want to lick your ice cream generally, and that's just based on this entire oscillation. Now, this is a similar type of principle that we're doing a lot in star method. But if you take this angle here as the key angle, and we were to duplicate this angle straight up in the air to the higher oscillation or the highest energy center, which is right here, we get prices moving in and out, but still respecting the angle generally, okay, somewhere around here on bottom and top. This is generally a clue that you're actually dealing with mid-phantom. Okay, that's the big theme. I do this over and over again, so you guys see this all the time. But when you see prices respecting yet still rejecting off of going in and out of your resistant areas, generally it's a clue you're dealing with mid-phantom. And all you do is take your key angle, duplicate the distance between your key and your phantom, and then turn that phantom into, I usually make it dashed, but you're going to turn it from solid to dashed. if you want to. You don't have to do that. I do that so it's better represented in our art. And then you just take that distance and you put it on the top side. Once you do, you take your angle that you have and you move it straight up in the air. Don't move it to the left or to the right if it's parabolic. If it's straight, you can't. But when it's parabolic, you move it straight up in the air, that distance. And then what it's going to happen after a while is you want to look for verification. You want to look to see, is it hitting and price respecting either in front or in back, in the past or in the future. In this case, that curvature can be extended to include this peak. So therefore, that's a verification here. That's how we know that I'm onto something when it comes to this curve. All right. Now, the other thing about these curves, you're saying, well, price is not hitting it, right? It looks like price isn't hitting this curve. Well, if you look carefully, you're going to see that this curve can eventually be made like a circle, but we don't draw circles in sword method. Okay, it looks like the curve is actually coming full circle, but we don't draw that. We draw parabolics that level out, and they level out to a flat line. So this is denoted for you guys who are looking at Zen or you're interested in Zen. In our art, we basically level out the parabolic to a flat line. So it's somewhere, here. Now this could probably be adjusted a little bit, but this is the general area. Okay. You want to get as close as you can to the ballpark area. I'm going to adjust this number, Lisa, 3464, 31, 17. It's close. It's a little far. It's a little above our last one. And that's just basically how it does. The parabolics just become a flat. They don't go full circle. Some people, they do art that has like that technical analysis that has circles. We don't have that. But this is the area we really therefore need to be above for a breakout. So we should slow down here. And if we get new health, it needs to be above here. So if there's any other trades, they're above there. And this is where our resistance is. When did we last look at Zen, Lisa?
November.
November, okay. So this is all new, right?
It was 12 something when we looked at.
Oh, it was 12 something? Okay, so it was about down here. There was another health. Price was sitting on top of that phantom. And look how quickly it clears the area after it pulls back. This is what I'm talking about as far as the principle goes. You're not guaranteed anything in the markets, but when you see price building on top of areas that should be their resistances, and especially if you have clues that you're dealing with a higher oscillation, play the longer game. Okay, if I have a clue that this is my top and that's my bottom, but the clue is that I should be playing a bigger game, and I have that breakout like we did here in December 9th. In December 9th, we had the next breakout and pullback right into those areas. When you have that, you can have a higher degree of confidence that you're dealing with something much higher. Okay, now this is a great move because there's a few cryptos that are pulling back like this, XRP, XTC. They're sitting on top of their resistances. And when you see that, even though it's kind of like straight up in the air, some of these are hard to catch. But if you know what the areas you're dealing with that encompass a larger resistance, you know that you have a higher chance of doing something good. Like SHIBA, SHIBA had a big breakout after with a similar type of parabolic, sitting in a good position. I think Volt had a similar move where there's a similar parabolic. When you're sitting in these better positions, you have a higher chance to cover more ground and cover it quickly, by the way. In a single week, price just shot up into that area. But if you know the oscillation, you know what you're dealing with, you can stack the odds in your favor. You can say, hey, this actually is a breakout, and it's not just based on flats. All right, so anyway, Lisa, I'll give you that number. If you're able to clear this, the $3 area, sorry, the 31, you're looking to probably get back to that, $130 number. That's a high number, but that's based on the flats, 1, 2, 3, 4. So going from 30 to 130 or 114, if you're being real conservative, I would probably push it to be more liberal because you got wicks on that top side, and you also have, we also still are within a key angle, with verification. So that means that if I take this angle and I put it on top near the meat on the monthly chart, and I scoot it back to verify along that same track. I'm still in that meaty area. Let me show you guys on the monthly chart, by the way. There's the core. Okay, here's one wick, another wick, another wick. It's kind of clue that this might be right. But if I take that angle and I move it back, still along that track, and I have resistance, or I have verification in the past that price respected that angle, it tells us that I could be actually playing another larger game. So the game that we might be playing isn't just this flat area with this is the top and this is the bottom, but rather it's possible we are dealing with this oscillation that's more of an angle, and therefore if I'm able to go, I might be looking to the higher side rather than the conservative side. So I could take profit conservatively at 114 or even riskier at 130, but I might actually be looking to hit closer to $200. So that might be on the board, especially if price goes. Some of you guys who do things like this, you stagger your profits along these tops. So some of you guys, like me, like I do this a lot, but I'll take profit at some of the conservative targets, and then I'll just a little bit, maybe 5 or 10%. Sometimes I do it just to celebrate, or just to make sure I walk away with something from the table. Because even if price goes by, I can buy it back, but I'll have more. Where is my price level? Why is the price level not working? Here we go. So closer to, if it's next week, the number is closer to 207, I would say, somewhere around 200. Okay, so that might be a place you may want to reach out and take some profit. So I might take some profit here and a little bit of profit here, and I even may take a profit here. So yeah, it's up to you guys. If you guys are, when you see this type of thing, you'll stagger your profit taking. But these are areas of important areas, and I'll leave this here and I'll move to the next crypto. Any other questions from our community? Comments, Zen. Questions, comments, Zen.
I got a question. Is it like you like seeing? I hear the word maxing out. Is it?
Maxing out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was already done. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's at a. Maybe this is the resistance right now that is the most for it right now.
So do you think it's like it's gonna come down and then rise up again? Like
I don't have any.
That yellow line right there. Is that what's happening right now?
It's very possible we may come down and come back up. Generally, if there's
That's what I understand.
there's a strong parabolic pullback on a monthly chart, so that tells me in the future we're going to be looking for higher prices. Very, very strong pullback. This is a monthly chart. Each one of these is 1 month worth of time, but look at the moves. Okay, this is our structure, round structure here. Our second round structure is here. Now this one is higher and this one's lower, but look at the pullbacks. In the RSI, the momentum is on the indicator side, and the indicator's pulling back even though price isn't, and that's a good sign that price may be propelled in the future to go higher. Now that's a long-term look that could play out over several years. I'm just letting you guys know this may be very well because of this is a strong RSI pullback. Okay, so if we come down from here back to here or even to lower, I have motivation that it's going to be going still higher in the future. Is that what you drew? You drew something like that, Triple J?
I mean, I believe it's maxed out. I think it's a yellow line.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if you saw my drawing.
I saw it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, I saw it's gonna come down. I don't know how much, but yeah. I believe it's maxed out. It's gonna have a good punch. But I also believe it's gonna have a good run. You know, everything's in. You know how that is. It's I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying what I see that they want makes me see. So I'm not looking. I can barely see the chart right now. I haven't had my coffee this morning.
Okay, yeah. You need your coffee. In addition to that, something interesting. I looks like I marked that there was some large buying coming in on Zen. So large buying came in this zone. And when we came back to this zone, it's on very little or no demand. So the majority of the supply has already been absorbed. The majority of the supply in the larger game has already been absorbed. So just remember that. I'll try to highlight that principle for you guys just to remember. It's very easy for this one to experience high moves when it does move. So again, if the next buy for this one is going to be above here, $4 and $34 to 31. I want to see prices in here, then we can talk about getting to the next territory. Otherwise, you may want to be looking to take some profit, or you can go from there. Anyway, any other questions for this crypto? Okay. All right. Thank you, Triple J. Superfuzz says, don't get caught holding a bag. You can always get back in on cheaper prices when it corrects. Okay. Yes, it is an art. Look at these hidden gems. Filters work very well. You going shopping? Or are you going to go take a walk? Okay. Those boots were made for walking. And that's just what you do. Those boots were made for walking. Don't let him walk all over you. If you add a filter for only 10 million, a chance to succeed in the next phase. All right, let's go to the next crypto. Let's look at ABT. If you guys missed the WordRoom this morning, I encourage you guys to watch it later today if you're just joining us. My son's getting a little antsy. Sometimes when he's at Auntie Val's, his aunt's house, my sister, he seems more, what is that? What's the word I'm looking for? More apt to push his limits. 151, 152, 152. We're going to look at it on Gate.io. ABT, Art Block. Good. Good. Signs of accumulation. Here's some down moves. Large, very large. Hold on. Yeah, it's been sold a lot, but at the same time, it appears it's been slowly accumulated in this consolidated range, but it's actually not consolidated at all. The bottom is flat. The top was curved. This was your health. But the average person may not see that you're coming down on the curve and they just think, oh, it's consolidation, that's the top. But really, you're actually in a healthy area. So when we hit this, come all the way back down, it's still in health. Here's where some of that accumulation starts coming in. Although it been people, there was large profit taking on single bars into these areas, but some of the moves were barely rejection and down here. So I think eventually what happened is there's a supply check that was happening. And in the macro, an increase all at the tops indicates we are going to see higher numbers. So from here, there's the volume is about this high. Then in this next section from here, the volume is very high. Then we come back to that section and the volume is very high. In addition, we hit it 1, 2, 3. These are coming down, but look at the volumes going up. They're telling us there's a market up there. We're waiting for the health. We're waiting for health to appear. Again, the health appears right there. That's nice. Now, the reason I'm looking at just to demonstrate some of these principles, but I'm also going to show you something new about this crypto. So we're in a down move. Right now I'm going to look for either two things. I'm going to be looking for in strong volume coming in, which I don't see. The other thing we would look for in volume is another no demand situation. So if we see prices coming down into health in no demand area, that tells us we're dealing with another larger correction. It means that this is not the true move, but rather the real move is up. Okay. If we see that happen, now we can see we're in a downtrend and look at the volume really drying up. Okay, really drying up comparatively to what's been happening for the most part recently over the past year. So this is the volume that's been happening over the past year since October of 2020. October 2020. Here is just from this past July, this last year. And we've been in a down move. So if we move into health, the move can move up quite swiftly because this is the actual no demand situation for ABT. So I'm going to be definitely looking for another sign of health for this crypto. That's a great catch. All right, let's draw some of these lines a little bit more professional and then we'll move on. Okay, if you guys are Dive Tier members and you do not have the Telegram VIP link, I want you guys to contact Superfood or shoot me an email or Superfood. Can you put your email in the chat? Just scroll up and make sure you guys get that. Okay, now there's a few things we can do in this area to track how far we're going. And ideally, we would want to do the DP projection of this distance between here and here and duplicate it out. But I can already tell you if I take that distance, it appears we're sitting on health. So let's make sure this is correct by moving that straight down. I don't want to move it to the left or right. I'll throw off the curvature. Straight down. Now I'm going to take the distance between here and here. Move that straight up as well. And there we go. Okay. So this is about how far we're supposed to go. We're only supposed to go about right here and stop. But us coming into health or us disrespecting it. So let me ask you a question and you tell me what this means. Because I taught you earlier in the video what this means. So let me give you one more parabolic. And I'm going to ask you two questions. Number one, is price respecting this line? Yes or no? Is price respecting it and disrespecting it? Okay, who thinks yes, who thinks no? Disrespecting or respecting or both?
It's both.
In what ways is it both? Help us understand.
It disrespected us and now it's respecting us, which is concerning.
Okay, that's good. So it respects it here. It even respects it here by building on here. And then it disrespects it by coming down. I mean, you can even see it was building, and then it comes back underneath, and then it respects here. It even actually respects here, here, and here. So how are we disrespecting it and respecting it? Okay, that's something that happens. But as I taught you earlier in today's video, when you start seeing that, it tells us we're dealing with something much, much more larger. What are we dealing with here? This is a classic example of something. We're respecting it, disrespecting it. It's a clue that we might be dealing with something different. What is that? Anybody know? The answer is a mid-phantom transformation. Mid-phantom. Now you're saying, how could this be a mid-phantom? Well, if this is the bottom, this is the top, but this is actually transformed now in our, right now, if we identify that this might actually be a middle piece, price is still respecting the curvature and the angle, but it's the middle piece, then again, if this is the bottom, we're going to duplicate this, and now we have larger numbers on the board within the same curvature. This is how some of this is actually possible. It's possible there's numbers on the board that are playing out over a very, very long time. Okay. Now you can navigate this because there's no guarantees that price is going to go that far, but you can navigate it even further by taking the halfway distances and knowing that, hey, at $25, $26 we may be having some problems because that's the middle of this mid-phantom. So just to denote that this is a little bit different, it's here. You know, Tesla told us see things in 3, 6, and 9. That's the mathematical equations of life. But when you understand DP projections, we're actually operating in a similar manners, right? But this is just how we can start tracking some of the duplications of the oscillations we're already dealing with. So we'll know that if we start breaking up, we may want to keep our eye on 26, 20, 27, somewhere around up there. Let's just put a price label. And I'm not going to put it past us. So if I'm already expecting, because of the volume, I'm expecting prices to come into health in a time in the future. When they go up, we need to be able to try to calculate how far they may go. Again, this is difficult when price is going straight up in the air, but not impossible. Some of it we can catch. I'm going to try to catch as much as we can for this one. Okay. Okay, Dave. I'm going to put a health above here. I want to see some rounding. This might be the resistance here in the more smaller game. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to do one more thing for you. This next line, I'm going to do some star method stuff in the back. That's my top. Hold on. I'm also going to be looking at 12 and 7 area. Okay. Okay. So at the moment, let me fade some of these lines away. So these are some of my star lines here. Okay. If we're taking into account the flat, the highest energy center between the flat is that one right there. So we're going to take that distance, we're going to duplicate that out, and it's going to give me closer to $12. So if I see breakouts right now, again on the volume with no demand, I might be looking to come to 7, reject. I'm going to be looking at 12 and even possibly 26 areas. But these are going to be some of the numbers I'm going to have on my chart of where we may be looking for prices to give us some kind of responses. All right, so I'll leave that there for this map, and I'll take some screenshots. Any questions, comments? ABT. ABT. Okay, price comes back. Look for flats around $1 as a safety net. Current price is $1.50. We may have another safety net closer to 0.32. All right, let's move on. Let me check the comments. All right, let's look at another crypto. The next one is fun. Everything in this video is never financial investment, trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading in the markets carries substantial risks. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. 0051 for fun. Fun token. Looks like on Gate.io we got data since November of 2020. I like that. On crypto.com, looks like we got data back from June 2017. So I'm going to use that one. That's going to be very valuable to me. But there's no volume, so I'm going to look at the volume. Let's look at Binance. Let's see how far Binance goes. 2019. That's going to be good enough. I think crypto.com shows me that bottom. Yeah. But it gives me the top. Okay. So I'm going to look at the volume real quick on Binance, and then I'm going to go back to that crypto.com one. All right, this is a good sign for fun. This is a good sign for fun. Okay, so in here we have our first wick, really high wick. It's about right there on that volume here. Then when we challenge the area again, what happens to the volume? Even though the meat of the candle is still in the same place, the volume is very, very high. Very, very high on that bar, December 11, 2023. We challenge it again, and what type of challenge do we see? We see it on still high volume. This is the average down here. That's the average. This is above average. We're seeing high volume. Okay. When we see that, what does this primarily mean? Okay. When we see prices generally challenging the higher areas on increased volume or sustained high volume, especially if we see buying in the background or health in the background. In this case, I don't really see any heavy buying, but I do see where the health can come in. And the health can come in based on this down movement's parabolic key. Okay, the foundational area, sorry, I should say the foundational area as a parabolic key angle. So all I have to do is look in the beginning area and continue extending it out. So I'm supposed to have problems in this area, which I did. It came down. But it can start giving me clues on when health is starting to come in. I can further take that angle after I draw it and verify it by bringing it to the lowest energy centers in that area to see if I'm getting any further verification. So if I bring it here, the lowest energy center in this area in the beginning, that one, I'm hitting verification here and here. Look, I'm not making it up, showing you how I see it. Here and here. Okay. So that tells me the curve on top is primarily correct. Now to do this a little bit more professionally, so you guys can make a little bit sense, and I'm going to come back to this volume and what that means. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for health. The health is not here, but when I see it, I can really stack the odds in my favor. Let's use yellow. Okay, I'm going to try to collect those three areas. And then start going down on a curve. Let's account for here. There's going to be, I'm going to draw both of them. Okay, I'm going to draw that one. And I'm also going to draw one more. Let's go to a 2-week chart. And I'm going to collect this one from the foundation. 1, 2, 3, blue. I'm going to try to collect all of that. This might be, let's do core for this one. Core, no, I have to do wick. Okay. Fourth verification. There. Good. Okay, our first sign of health, therefore, was here. Within this oscillation, the first sign of health was actually here, based on, again, that foundational area, more accurately. Price bouncing on top of there, actually. That's good. The curvature for here, including this, is going to be more in balance to encompass this last move. So if I draw this as a key, this is my parabolic. If I draw this one, this shows me the health, but it gets me a good idea and flow of what's really happening. This should be my resistance area up here. And in the last month, December, we've hit this area twice. Okay, we probably could adjust it now to compensate for those, but that's basically a big clue about what's happening. Okay, so now that I know this, and I now know what's been happening in the volume along that top, okay, if there's a reason we're in health, I want to be looking for something. I want to be looking for these wick challenges on increased volume because it's a clue that something's going to happen. So let's test you. I'm going to remind you guys again what we teach and what is often taught in VSA. If I'm getting challenges on the top side on increased volume or sustained volume, in this case it's going to be more consistent sustain. Challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3, but the volume is still high. It's generally not ready to see lower prices. It's generally not ready to reverse. Even if it was selling, it's generally not enough. If there's too much of a market up at the top, it means you're going to see higher prices in the future. That's what it means. It means that it's not really ready to fall into heavy weakness. So it makes weakness less likely, especially again if we start seeing the moves coming into health. Now, one more thing. I can use this area as the VZV, the volume zone block, to test what's happening, but I can also use anything along that price zone. We just hit it 2 weeks. So what am I looking at therefore? Can somebody really tell me what we're looking at today? What should we be looking for? Does anybody know what we might be looking for? We already tested it in those three areas. 1, 2, 3. What should I be looking for today? I gave you the answer earlier. And what does it mean? How can we use that to help us make money or minimize our risk or stack the odds in our favor? Yeah, I'll look at that, Mr. Mo. Nobody? 26 people in our live session. Nobody knows the answer, what it might mean, or what we should be using this today for. And by today, I mean this month. Okay, nobody? No suspicions?
All right, can you repeat the question?
Okay, if this is number 1 in our volume zone block, we teach this a lot in our volume zone classes, but if this is number 1 here, and that is number 2 challenge, and this is number 3 challenge, and the volume is increasing or sustained, because here's the average, there's your AV. So we're still seeing high volume on 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's still consistent. What are we looking for today? We are looking for something that is linked to everything in these prices. That's our volume zone block. I teach this guys in our VZB class. Okay, VZB volume zone block, lessons 14, 15, 16. So what should I be looking for today now that I know today we've hit there twice? Okay, or maybe not today, this is a 2-week chart. So in the last month we hit there twice.
I would anticipate a breakthrough sometime soon.
Why would we be looking for a breakthrough? And yes, that's correct. We would be looking for a breakout, but why would we be looking for it?
Forgive me if I'm not familiar with all the terms, but
Sure.
I think the trend of the buying pressure indicates that there's enough buyers in the market trying to take us to a higher level.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As such, for me at least, I look for at least three of those touches before we go higher, and we've already met those 3.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this one has a strong likelihood of breaking through that that block, if you will.
Sure. So
And this is a 2-week chart.
this is a 2-week chart. So each one of these candles is 2 weeks worth of time.
Yeah. And that last wick that you see there, my question for you would be, what would that indicate? Because I think that's a tail sign as well.
Well, there's some rejection on here, but it is challenging multiple times. We challenged it 1, 2, 3, and now we challenged it a 4th time. And that might be an indication that price is refusing to go down into further lower prices. But we already know from volume spread analysis that if the volume is consistent or higher, that means higher prices are to come. We're looking for higher prices to come. Now, this is a phenomenon we can observe. So that's something. So somebody else fill in the blanks. What are we looking for primarily this week? And did we or did we not get it? I should say this month. The clue is number 4. What are we primarily looking for in area number 4? Okay. All right, 10 more seconds and I'm going to give you guys the answer.
A close above the line?
If we're looking at the candle structure, we would be looking for close above the line. That'd be nice.
No demand?
No demand. In this situation, we probably won't get no demand.
A push?
We might be looking for a push, yes. Okay, we might be looking for a push. That might be one of the things. Okay, pushing volume is we're going to see some up bars with really high volume that go through our resistances. That means we're going to get some candles that are up here in these prices from 007, 008, 0010, somewhere up here on really high volume. All right. Any other guesses? I'm trying to instill a principle today, and I'll try to find it in other areas so you guys can look at. But we notice it from time to time. Very powerful principle. No one else? Going once. Going twice. Okay. The answer is we're looking for higher volume as we come to the top, because as I mentioned before, if we see them challenging it but the challenge is on higher and higher volume, it tells us there's a market up there. That's the number one. If you see them challenge the resistances on very high volume, there is a market higher. And you'll see me sometimes draw a little arrow off in the sky. Okay, like that. That's what that means. Now I know that when they challenged it this fourth time, okay, I know that when they challenged it this fourth time, all we have to do is look at the trend in the volume. So somebody tell me what the volume is doing every time we challenge the roof. 1, 2, 3, 4. The volume is increasing. You guys got it. Do you see that? So they're challenging the roof and they're saying, hey, there's too much market up there. Look for higher prices. It's a huge clue, especially in the macro when you know the move is in health, or you saw buying in the background, or you saw lots of prices building on old resistances. You want to look. Now this one, in all fairness, has not given us much health except for maybe that small one. You also know you're coming from a bottom, but we don't see the next really big health. So if you wanted more health, you need to get into health, and you know where to look. So I know, therefore, if price is able to build above the big resistance, because of what I can see in the volume, I know this is going to be very significant and very good for price. It would be fantastic, actually, if I can get there. If I can get there. Right now, I'm not there, right? So this is a little bit risky, but if I know to watch fun for the next breakout, because if I get the next breakout, you're probably going to see fun take off. Okay, so fun is giving me lots of reasons why it's going to do good. It's going to do good. Now, anybody can quickly calculate how high is fun supposed to go? Can somebody give me a number? Somebody give me a price, or show me how to do it so I can do it myself. If fun takes off because it has evidence that there's going to be a higher market. So if we're able to get that final breakout or push, or they throw money at it, people are willing to pay higher prices for it. That's what I showed you in the volume. They're willing to pay higher prices. So if that happens, how high am I going? There's 2 answers I'm going to be looking for in this one. Actually, I'll take 3 answers. Good. Somebody drew one here. You guys can't see. You guys are doing really good. I'm proud of you guys. You drew a line here, which is the DP projection between this oscillation. Okay, you took the distance and you duplicated above there. That's one way we can do it. And then we can calculate whatever prices those are, which we'll do in just a moment. But that's around, what, 0.16. So you did great. That's one. What's another way we can calculate how high we're going? Somebody drew a line like that. Can you explain a little bit more? Okay. What's another way we can calculate? Go ahead and unmute. Explain to us or draw on my screen using the Zoom annotate. So this is our. It's close
It's
to
a measured move.
Okay. Measured move. Okay. There's another example I'll take. There's one that's harder to see, and then
What
there's
about if we draw a key angle on the uptrend from the bottom? Like right here. I can't. My line is black, but and then duplicate it up here.
Yep.
See what I'm doing?
Did you guys see what she did? So that's maybe one. We may want to draw that angle and then duplicate it here as the phantom. And then you can look at mid phantoms to see if price is responding. That might be a really big clue that you're getting up there, or you're going to respond still back there. That's a really big clue. And this would be
I know
your,
another clue
this
that
would be
it's
your
gonna go
respect,
up.
and that would be your disrespect, which is equals oftentimes mid phantom. So our bigger move is this oscillation. Yeah, so that might be one we're gonna do. There's one more here that I'm primarily looking for, and I'll clear you guys' lines in just a moment, because we have a lot of content, but I also don't want to overwhelm you guys. So I'm just gonna quickly do this, and you can say, well, which one is it? Which one is it? Is it this one as the major oscillation between here and here? Or is it the answer to that question is often both. It's often multiple. And sometimes one is dominant and sometimes one is not dominant. You have to watch the game, and you have to sometimes know that it's not just one energy coming into the market. There's multiple emotions, multiple people feeling different things as they enter the market. So they create different trends, sometimes smaller, sometimes trends within trends, stories within stories. We try to see the strongest dynamics and use those as well to get the major numbers. Okay, so Firecracker, you had a question?
And I was thinking you could do targeting, but then you can also do like that mixed tiger too.
Yeah, if you can demonstrate that this is the bottom, you could do a mixed tiger calculation here, and it can help you verify some of the tops along the way. If you break out, you may want to do that. There's another one I'm looking for. You could do the mixed tiger. Sorry, she said you can do the fixed volume profile. So that means that this is going to be our targeting analysis. We're going to come to the top to the bottom and look for some targets. Here's some targets I've just placed on the board for you. We don't always do all of these analysis, but you guys can within sword method. There's one more I'm really looking for. It's going to be harder to see, and I was wanting to see if anybody caught it. Okay, so of targeting analysis, there's a target up here and target there. I'll take a screenshot so you guys can do that later. But other than that, I'll just type some prices. All right, there was one more that I'm looking at, and it's harder to see, so I'm gonna try to ask if somebody can see it. Okay, so 0.016 to 0.013. So we may see some stops along the way at mid phantom. Here, that's what seems where we got the bulk of the resistance. And then if we can get above here, we may be hitting closer to these higher numbers, such as 0.028, and then come back down to 0.024. So we may see price, if it does break above, come up, come hit here, come back down, and that might still be a health. So we would be looking primarily, oops, hold on. We might be looking at a similar situation to there. By the way, the parabolics, they level out to a simple flat. Okay, after a while, parabolics do not full circle because price doesn't go backwards. So we don't need to calculate any circles behind, at least in our current version. Although there's benefits to circles, I'll let other teachers go for that if you find some. I don't really know anyone who teaches the whole circle stuff, but you can use it in technical analysis. I just use parabolics. It gets the job done. It's about all I need. Okay. So this is where the congestion is, so don't be surprised if we hit 0.18 as a big target before pulling back. We may bounce in here, but if we do get a breakout, I'm going to be looking for something like that. And then if I'm able to get above that breakout, this next target area, above those prices, that's when I'm going to be looking for prices to go higher, possibly up there. But there's another number I'm looking at, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. All right. To demonstrate this next principle, I'm going to hide my lines, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. So again, this is a 2-week chart, so it's a high-level chart. However, this is what I see. So I'm going to give you guys this as a clue. What's this? And what might it be? There's clues within this segment. Let's just isolate that segment. Can anybody make some observations about this segment here? Throw out some words. What comes to mind? What do you see?
Flat.
Flat. Why do you see flat? That's what I wanted to see. Why do you see flat? And where do you see it?
The area that it's consistently coming down to.
Okay. The area that it's consistently coming down to. Core here, and that she's correct, by the way. That's exactly what I wanted you guys to notice about this. Okay. Remember, teach a man a fish, he eats for a day. Train him, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man a fish, he eats for a lifetime. If I can catch you guys and train your eyes to see things, you're going to catch more things. I can't catch everything in the market, even me and you guys, but collectively you can catch a lot of stuff, or with practice you guys can collect a lot of stuff. So here's a wick, here's a core, here's a core. The core is right there. The core is right here. There's another core right here. So here, here, here. Here's a wick. All right, what might be another clue that we're dealing with the flat? And then I'm going to ask you after that, how can we verify that we're dealing with the flat? Is there another thing that tells us we may be dealing with the flat in just this image alone? The answer is yes. Look at the flow of price more carefully.
You can duplicate it.
If I duplicate it, then what happens? What am I looking for?
Verification.
Okay, how do I do that? What do I do with this?
Move it up to the cores and the wicks
Where?
at the top.
At the top. Okay. If I bring it to the top here, is that a verification, or is there a verification in this area? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. There's a core approximately here. Here's a wick approximately here. And here's another core wick here. See, look at the flow of price, my friends. The flow is here, 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 here. We come down, we come up, we come here. That's the flow of price. Do you see it in the simplicity? What would happen if I want to verify this a little bit more, just this a section alone, just to kind of get the essence and core of what's happening? By the way, let me take a picture of that, just to kind of give you guys the simplicity of it. Because remember, we're using art to make things simple. Okay? We're using art to make things simple. I want to show you one more thing. See if I can. No, I can't do that. Okay. If I take this flat line, okay, sorry. If I take the distance between this flat line, as if this was the oscillation, the primary oscillation, considering just hypothetically, it's like how long division or in mathematics, what you do is when you're adding and subtracting numbers, you're sometimes borrowing the integer before, right? You carry the 1 over, right? But sometimes you have to, like in algebra, you have to leave y as a y, and you have to deal with what you can deal with. Once you've dealt with what you've dealt with, you can always come back to y, and y makes sense. So if I'm primarily in our art, if I know that the distance and the symmetry of this is all here, if that's what I dealt with, and I can say, hey, that's a flat and that's a flat, right? We got that down, right? I can say, hey, that's a flat, that's a flat. To confirm further, I could set aside and omit this as noise. And then I can try to measure this by taking the distance between here and here and duplicating it and moving that to the side. Where am I getting to? I'm getting to these areas. So if I duplicate it, my cores should be here. And guess what? My cores are there. So this gives me further clues that what I'm pointing out or what your eyes are seeing are not lying to you. That what you're seeing is the theme, flat. Okay? Now I'm going to show you one more way we can prove this. Okay? I'm going to show you one more way we can prove it. And this is important because you train your eyes to see this stuff. It's going to help you. Okay? So if I'm dealing with flat, there's one more thing I might expect. I don't know if I'm going to see it, but I want to see it. But if my larger flat is here, I want to look for verification. Okay, correct? Do I have verification if I stretch it out here? Yes or no? Lisa? Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, look at where price is bouncing. Okay, I'm taking screenshots just to kind of like help you enforce this. This is a type of tutorial. So if I'm really dealing with flat as the primary analysis, then when it comes to how can I use that to make money, keep money, save money, protect money in the markets, I can duplicate this as my resistance. So when I get to the top at the highest energy center up there, I may actually be dealing with resistance at 0.63 cents. So current price 0.05. If price goes straight up in the air, I actually may be looking for price at there. Now the way I can confirm this, does anybody know a way we might want to confirm if we're really dealing with that resistance at 0.6 or we're dealing with the resistance higher at 0.7? There's a few ways we can go about that we can interpret this. Now today's example, this isn't a severe example, but it can be severe in some cases. Okay, so how do I know if I'm primarily going to 6 cents or if I'm going to 79, which is closer to, just rounded up to 8 in July of 2025? What are ways we can use to know if we're just, this is just noise, and this is how we're going? There's two primary ways, and I'll accept, and then we'll go on. But this is a great example to teaching moment. Anybody?
Multiple time frames.
I can. That's great. That's a perfect example. Multiple time frames. So if I'm dealing with a 2-week chart, each candle is 2 weeks worth of time. I can go to a monthly chart. By doubling that, I go to a monthly chart. Now on a monthly chart, I want to see that this was just a wick. If I don't, then I know that I'm dealing with this angle rather than this, and that oscillation at an angle going higher, rather than dealing with just the flat oscillation. Okay, that's how I can know. So let's do that one first. That's one. And the other example, let's just go over the other example, then we'll see the result, and then we'll move on. What is the other example I can use to look at the higher, to know that I might be going up higher? There's another way we can do it. It's much simpler, but that's my primary way, the first one. Look at the higher time frame. What is the...
A candle close, no?
A candle close, it has something to do with the candle closes. Okay. Okay, if just pretend this is a margin of error and this is noise, what clue might I have that I'm going higher, even if this is the main resistance at 0.63?
You can measure the distance
Of what?
below the flat and take it to the top.
Yes, I can measure the distance below the flat as a exception to the rule. Okay, so if the meaty part of the move is here, price can go to the extremes on both sides. And that top well covers that extreme. Now, again, I said this is kind of a simple example, but sometimes it really matters because sometimes the resistance is really high in the sky and you're wondering, Jae-sung, should I take all my profit here or should I take my profit here? And if I say, well, if this is the dominant energy here, what's the exception to the rule? It's this. So how much margin of error do I have? That much margin. So should I exactly take profit at 0.6 cents? No, you can actually even push it further all the way to 19 cents. But still, it might spike up to 19 cents and come right back down and not change the story. And you were right, but you were able to squeeze out every drop of money that was in there. So sometimes you can actually push your targets a little bit higher if you see those exceptions to the rules. So that's two ways of doing it. So sometimes just looking at the wicks, playing outside. When I see that cores, now I like to trade very conservatively. Okay, so I like to sometimes take profit at those margins, but if I see heavy exceptions to the rules, sometimes I know to give me an exception on the top side. Okay, and you can do this in reverse. So if the exception to the rules is the top side, but the meat was here and price is at the lower side, I know that they may manipulate price, spike it down to the same distances as top, and still be correct. So I know not to put my stop loss so close, because they'll trigger that stop loss and then I'll go up and I'll be like, oh, I was right. But you miss out because they liquidated your position. Or if you're leverage trading, they'll liquidate you here. So sometimes when you know that, you need to look at the spreads of the candles, you need to look at the exceptions to the rules, you need to look at those relevant players, because those players are still in the market. So these players down here are there. Okay, I see your hand, Triple J. I see your hand, but give me just a second. I see your hand. Now, what's going to happen? We need to account for those players within the game. So the game we may understand, but we need to account for them. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, you need to watch for those players. So now, to calculate that resistance, the first way, the easiest way to do is to look at the higher time frames. And I'm doing this live, guys, so you can see if I'm doing it right. But if I look on a monthly time frame and those cores are there, I know I'm dealing with 0.6 cents. If I don't see it, I know I'm dealing with that higher angle up here at 0.9. And then my wick distance is much smaller, because the wick distance will only be that small, not the larger move. So I know I can tack on approximately that much, and my resistance will primarily be 15 cents. So let's find out the answer. Let's do this. Let's go to a monthly chart. And this is a monthly chart. Each one of these is a month. Is it still flat or is it not flat? What's the answer? Is the resistance flat or is the resistance more at an angle?
More at an angle?
More at an angle. It's more at an angle. Look at the core is still in the same way. Now we have a special module. If you guys are new, we have a special module for you. You are a dive tier member, so all of this is included. There is a lesson on our lessons page, and I'm just gonna show you guys a way to do it, especially for all you newbies. This is a tutorial moment, but I'm just gonna quickly do it for you. So on our website, patreon.com, there's a module called Core Cluster. It's quite a simple lesson. It's a very easy lesson. So on our website, if I scroll down to our page and I type in lessons, I'm going to click the enter button, and it's going to pull me and show me. I'll do this for you guys real quick. Okay, it's going to show me all my lessons here. I'm going to click on, see, lessons 1 through 16, show more. Now done here, there's one that's called Core Cluster, and it's a real fun, simple lesson. Hey, where's my Core Cluster? Hold on. Lesson 15, about target moves.
Some weird access thing I probably did by mistake. I've never had a problem.
I think Tommy has a hot mic.
We have a hot mic.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Lesson 6, Core Cluster. There it is. Okay. Core Cluster. Filmed July 31st, 2024. So you guys can do that. Practice with that. That's one of the ways you can start understanding where some of these stronger energy centers are. Melody, in the timestamp, can you please add this as tutorial? Fun, and then we're going to put tutorial. Yeah, I know you're not editing, but can you add that timestamp for me? Yeah, I know. All right, we'll take a break in a few minutes. So we'll take about 10-minute break. But let's see, Triple J, did you have any other comments? We'll take a break.
Yeah, I heard the Lord say that for that coin, higher highs and 10 cents to 20 cents. Okay. And then while you were speaking, I also heard 22 cents.
Higher highs, 10 cents to 20 cents. And then what else did you hear? 22 cents?
And 22, yeah. Actually, I also heard 15. I just put 10 too. So I should put all that in my
Come. Thank you, Triple J. December.
Did you give a percent to that blue line?
Yeah, I can give a percent. So now that we know.
Also, I want to tell you guys that this was just added to the ANA registry. Which is really significant.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, I'm getting attacked by my sister's dog. Penny.
Penny, go.
You want to say hi, Penny?
Say hi.
She's got these doodles. They're golden doodles. She look all tiny. She's huge. This dog is massive. Okay. Here, come here, Penny. Come here. You want to say hi to me? I won't be able to.
Is that a golden doodle?
Yeah.
Golden Buddha.
Wow. Oh gosh. Huge.
Oh boy.
These
Thank
are.
God he's black.
Baby
Got
girl.
black.
And this is the female. This is the girl. She's got a really big one. He's like a bear. I ain't kidding. He is huge. Oh, Penny, good girl, Penny.
And I wanted to say one more comment that I shared over here. People donated $5 million in XRP to President Trump's inauguration.
Hey. Yeah.
Mr. Moore, that's not a golden doodle, it's a black doodle.
Yeah, I didn't know what to call it. I've only seen one like one time. That's what my wife called it. So I was like,
Yeah, that's what they're called. Gold.
Yeah,
Gold.
I'm just
I think he's just joking.
I
Guys.
know you are.
but it's a beautiful dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They are. They just very, very gentle, very friendly. Great, very obedient. Okay, so let's finish up this one, and then we'll go on a break. Thank you. Lisa said they're added to the ISO registry. This is a great tutorial moment. We're going to be looking for a break into health. This one doesn't have the break into health. We will be looking primarily on the top side, as I demonstrated. And just to kind of like bring a heavy note to that, I'm not even going to add the resistance here at blue flat. I'm going to add the resistance there underneath, and you guys will see. And then I'm giving you guys just even that equal distance, approximately from the top side to the bottom. So that's how we can calculate about how far or what we're really dealing with, and what are the exceptions to the rules. So therefore, my main target resistance, if I have this and I buy it at 0.007, I probably want to take profit at 0.093, some profit, and some profit at 15 cents, which is somewhere around Triple J's numbers here. And we may go higher, but I believe we may see some resistance here, or building along that angle. So I know the angles I'm really looking to build. It's maybe not so much the flat. I may see also candles stop here and spike down to spike down to the 6 cents, but still build along 9 cents. So if I see it coming down, but we stop here in 9 cents, I already know that, because I already know the primary dominant trait. The dominant oscillation is probably going to be an upward angle. Now, all this assumes that we do get a breakout. If we get weakness, I also know that if I get weakness, I may be looking for weakness underneath here, or even the flat, or both. Okay, I may see candles here and spike up there. I know it's weakness. So those are ways we can actually view this. All right. Any other questions, comments before we go to a fellowship break for about 10 minutes?
Is this a meme coin?
Does anybody know?
No, I don't think it is. I don't believe it is.
No, it's not a meme coin.
What
Did you give the percent? Did I miss it?
Oh, I didn't give it to you. I'm sorry. All right.
Low price number, J2.
You mean from right now? Oh yeah, thank you. From current price?
Do you think it's gonna have a breather?
It may. It already has what it needs to show that their intentions are to bring it up. I'm just waiting to see if we get into that.
What is it now? Sorry.
It's 0.005. The rejection we got at 0.007 is really heavy, but it's still.
So you don't think it'll go back to a 3? Like just touch it?
Yeah. Oh, probably.
Okay, because I hear the Lord saying that I hear 3, so maybe we'll just have one wick or something. Or just a swift move down and then go
Sure,
back
sure.
up.
Some of the last event that we have, even currently, there should be resistance here. So if I take this angle from these two areas and I bring them to the top energy center, more immediate, there should be resistance here. You know, so we still could come back down into these areas because we're dealing with the top. So right now, if you haven't taken profit, if the markets don't turn around, you are dealing with the resistance. So you're probably going to fall back to 3. Okay, now I'm going to give you that measurement. Lisa's asking for a measurement. So let's just say things turn around for this crypto, or you buy it, or you're just dollar cost averaging, you're trying to get a good price, and we're still close to the bottoms. And if you're expecting higher price, if you just paid today's price, if we go up to the top angle, that's around 1,000%, 1,416% to be more exact. Up there. Up to the blue flat, you're dealing with 900%, and up to the DP projection here, the yellow area, that's 257%. That's a pretty big percent. Okay, lots of money that's potentially on the table. If you were able to buy it at 3, if we do come back closer to 003, and we move up there, that's around 2,900% to the top. Up to here, it looks like you're dealing with 2,000%, 2,082% at the flat, and then the yellow, you're closer to 500%. Still huge thing that's potentially for a crypto that this could be. But let's make sure Alrighty. Okay, now let's move on to our fellowship break. We'll be back and I'll do some more cryptos. I won't do tutorials after that. But I will continue.
We did BGB, but FNS is really FSN.
Oh, is that what it is? FSN? Okay, let me adjust that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we'll be back, my friends. Don't forget to introduce yourself, say hi, fellowship. We'll be back.
I'll jump right on that, and I'd like to introduce myself. Sorry, are you recording?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ian, and everybody. I don't see everybody who's on here, but so I had Zoom meetings this morning for work, and I couldn't jump on. Anybody interested in like a super quick rundown of the market look? Or, I don't know, whatever Song shared, because I missed that.
He's leaving USDT.D for last because he has something
thanks.
special to tell us. So.
Oh, because he knew I wasn't there, right? Is that what he said? He's like,
Yeah, he's waiting for you.
Alex isn't there? Wow. Now I'm feeling special. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Wait means wait. Wait.
Oh, that phone call.
Good coffee, Mama.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you, Miss Firecracker. So what are you gonna be cracking and firing up on Christmas?
I don't even know. I don't know.
That makes 2 of us. I'll be like slow, then slower, then slow.
I'm gonna head out after it dies and run some errands and go to the grocery store.
Well, that reminds me.
So, has anyone got a wood stove? Yeah? Anyone had it lit?
I have a microwave. I don't have a wood stove.
It what is
what?
in me? Microwave.
I have a microwave.
A what?
Microwave?
Microwave.
In English?
Oh, suave.
That was good.
That's fun. I thought you were saying rico suave.
She has a small nuclear reactor in it.
Try putting aluminum foil in it. And see what happens.
I accidentally microwaved tinfoil hat.
Yeah. I did that many years ago when I was younger. I didn't know any better. Oh my God.
Mommy.
Yeah, it died after that one.
What's time? Oh, I got 4 minutes.
Morning, Ian. Did you say something about you have a wood burning stove, or you were asking if someone had one?
Sorry, can I go, Mr. Moore?
Good morning. I was just asking, were you inquiring if someone here has a wood burning stove, or you're saying that you do have one?
No, I'm saying, has anyone had theirs burning yet?
No.
I do have my heat turned up, Ian, but it's not a wood burning stove. It's like 18 degrees here.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
That's rough. It's real rough.
Wow.
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Mr. Mall. Mr. Mall.
Huh?
My dog said, my sister's dog said the same thing the other day. What?
What do you mean?
What was your comment? What did you say?
Oh, that's rough.
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 Oh, man. That was a good one. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a dog.
I wouldn't mind having a wood burning stove.
Then get one.
I suppose they both keep you warm, right? I will get
You need to get one.
Yeah, don't really want to install one in this house. So trying to move. But yeah, it's a nice radiant heat, you know. I would like some radiant heat right now.
Whenever you decide to get a dog, maybe you can call it Radiant.
Yeah. Maybe. Or Clarence.
Clarence.
Clarence. Come here, Clarence.
Oh boy, you mean Claire? Yeah. Would you like a spot of tea, Claire?
Clarence, I hope you haven't eaten my slippers.
Do you have some doggy shoes, darling?
I'm gonna ask a silly question, Ian. Are there any names that are off limits for potential dog names? Because I don't know if I feel comfortable naming my dog Clarence. I'd have a different that first name.
Well, Mr. Mall, you know if you name your dog Clarence, you're almost. You know if you name your dog Clarence, you're almost guaranteed. Hey, I'm trying to tell a joke here. If you name your dog Clarence, you're almost guaranteed that he's gonna save your life if you jump in a river. Please help me, Clarence. Please, Clarence. Juju's pedals. Juju's pedals. I'm so funny. Who got that joke? Who got
Not me.
Did anybody get that joke? That's a funny joke. That's a funny joke.
I did.
Ah, tell them the joke. Tell them the punchline. I'm secretly testing her to
From
see
the
if she
movie,
would.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Thank you. Thank you. It's from It's a Wonderful Life. Remember the angel that saves him when he jumps in the river is named Clarence.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's a classic.
I'm like, I don't know.
Are you telling me you've never seen It's a Wonderful Life? It's only been around for like 100 years. It came out like 1929.
You know, whenever they showed that on KTLA Channel 5 in LA County, I made a point like to watch something else.
They show it every year for a reason, so you can remember how wonderful a life you have. It's about a man who goes through a lot of things in his life, and he wishes that he had a different life, but he gets a chance to see what life is like if he was never born.
So what you're saying is like, go watch it.
I'm saying go watch it, and then name your dog Clarence afterwards. All right. So we're back. We took these pictures yesterday. My family picture. I don't know why all the girls were telling us, "Why do you stand like this?" And all the guys were like, "That's gay." And they said, "This is like." They said, "Let's take a guy picture. Let's take all the picture with the guys." And I said, "Okay." And then everyone's standing like this. I come to the front of the line. I said, "Wait, is this a guy picture or a gay picture?" And then my brother goes, "It's both." Guys, oh gosh. So they all hold each other in these weird poses. But that's my family here. And then what was our next picture we took? We took one with the guys with our like this, with our hands on our chin. There's Melody taking a picture. Okay. There's Mama. So, just want to show you guys some of the pictures we took yesterday visiting the local church. There's a better picture of our family. My son Eldon Song. Yeah. Oh, there's the other picture we took. What's with our hands on our chin this year?
Nothing.
My son's happy. There's the camera lady's in the background going. She's going smile, making him laugh. We're all thinking about what's that? About being in a field of lilies and flowers. So, anyway, thought to show you guys that. My pictures. You look good, Melody. You look good. Thank you. Thank you. Can you guys see the resemblance of my sister and me? No? All right, let's go back to cryptos. Do I look like my mom? Do I look like my mom? Yeah. My mom is always like, what does she say? Well, like that. She says that, and she says a lot of things. Like, she hits you like that, and then she smiles. What'd you say?
I think it's your mom's nose.
Nah, maybe my mom's nose. Maybe we got it.
Lay down. Lay down.
Okay, anyway, let's get back to cryptos because you guys didn't show up to see my mom, right? I want to see his mom. Hey, here's somebody in the background. All right, we did. If you guys missed, so if you guys missed earlier the word room, I encourage you guys to rewatch the video. This video will not be edited, so it's the unedited version. It's just going to be posted, but Melody will put some timestamps for it. So word room we begin at the beginning, and then we did a tutorial today on fun. So if you guys want to learn some of the teaching that I'm doing, or some of the demonstration of the principles, a look at fun. It's kind of fun, I think. All right, let's go through these cryptos. I'm going to highlight some of the more important things. Some of them I have maps on, some of them I do not. Here's a crypto that I don't really have a map on. It's called BGB. Okay, BGB. We did a quick look at BGB the other day, and I showed that this was in an area of health. But that's about all we did looking at BGB. So let's look. My son is off to the side eating his lunch. So you'll hear him going, yum, 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 yum.
Didn't we do this already, Jay?
I don't believe so, but I will.
Yeah, we done that today, Jay. It's up on the chart.
Did we do that today?
Yeah.
Oh, look, we did it at the top. Oh, why did I do it? Then where's the map for it? Did I not highlight it? Okay. We did. Yeah. Oh, it's just written twice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who wrote it twice? Whose bright idea?
There was a mix-up because I actually put it in wrong spelling, and then I corrected it, and then you were confused, and then everything went pear-shaped from there, Jay.
Well, you know better than to confuse me, House. Because I'll get confused. Okay. I'll like.
As Confucius says, I am very confused.
God is not the author of confusion, but House is.
Oh man.
All right, let me just make sure I write down what chart that BGB was from, so I make sure I add it next time. Looks like BitGet. Okay, so I did do it on BitGet, even though I didn't want to initially. I did it. All right, there it is, added. And if you guys have cryptos you guys want to add to your own watch list, just make sure you put that little plus button there when you're doing so. Okay, next crypto. XDC. I like XDC. I've liked the position is. It has a higher chance of...
You took BGB off.
Yeah, from the beginning.
You need to add it back at the top, no?
Okay, up there on this. BGB, right there, right? Up there?
I'm not sure where, but I know you...
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So now we'll continue to XDC. I like XDC, you guys know. I moved into a larger XDC position. Here's our current XDC map. My big view currently on XDC is that XDC is in a stage where price is pulling back, as I've demonstrated and discussed. I believe XDC needs to stay above this block. That's the big decision. It looks a lot like XRP, where I showed you two arrows, one going down like that and one arrow going up like that. If price can stay in these areas, it has a higher chance of breaking out. And you'll notice that when USDT.D was pulling back, these pulled back, but nowhere near as much as some of the other cryptos that pulled back, because some of those other cryptos were only in these positions. So when they pulled back to some of their origin prices. So they're still at prices that haven't really launched out. But, oh, sorry, got some hot mics. Okay. However, cryptos like XRP did get strong breakouts, so their pullbacks are quite less. They're only back to their supports. And same with XDC. So XDC has not pulled back all the way back to its breakout area because it's sitting on top of a support. From what I believe is actually happening, that's what is happening. And I have the two maps that show that, and that's where we're still at. So right now we're still getting the move back to 6 cents. We got the move to 6 cents. We came back up, and then we got the close at 0.76 cents, and that's, for me, it's around 0.75 here on our previous maps. So you guys can see that's still where we're at. So that's something that hasn't really changed for XDC. I will show you the smaller look on XDC. Here's a smaller look. Here's our current watch line based on these two areas up here, and here. And we're still respecting that line, so we still haven't got the big breakout. this is the wick side. It also has the two exact same angle. So therefore you can just view this simply as a range if you want to. Just fill all that as in color. You can use the rotated rectangle box, but I don't like to use it too much because it's kind of a difficult tool to use. They could have done it better. But primarily when you see price building in these areas, even if all it does was just hold its current price, it has a higher chance of going up because we're breaking past those areas. So as long as we're still staying relatively above this range and relatively above this range, that's going to be our next breakout. So therefore our pocket is a little bit right there. Okay. So anyway, at any rate, we still may not break out, but it's in a good position that it can. I'm sorry, we still may not move really quickly, but it's in a relative position where it can move very quickly when it does. And as I've let you guys know, this past week I moved a big portion of my holdings into XDC. So XDC has probably the dominant amount in my portfolio at the moment. It has more than my XRP position. And more of my other trading positions. I like a lot of trading coins, but remember they always say not to invest more than 5% in any one single trading idea because you can only stack the odds in your favor. This is not, the markets are in some ways like a casino, but you cannot force the market to do anything. You can only increase the odds in your favor. You also need to know that there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of factors that you have to calculate in. So you can be right on your analysis, but you can also be whipsawed or wicked out or leverage out. That's why I always tell you guys, remember not to leverage trade because it can get you in a lot of trouble. It can liquidate you. It's sometimes better just to hold on to your spot crypto coins because whether the price goes up or down, you're still sitting, you're still okay. They can't take it away from you. You may not make money, but they can't take it away from you. So when it comes to cryptos that you cannot force them to grow, when you want them to grow, you can only try to stack the odds, clear the lanes, clear the resistances, make sure you have cryptos that there's smooth sailing ahead because when they move, they can move really quickly. But if there's lots of resistances, if prices are in such place where there's lots of resistances above you, like for example, if price were still under here, we would have a higher chance of coming back down to these smaller areas, and you would be like, oh man, we still need to clear. Hold on, move this out the way. We still need to clear these two resistances here. Now, with us getting some closes out here, I'm not okay. I'm fine to dip back into those resistances, provided I got some of those closes because they stack the odds in my favor. Now, if this doesn't hold and price is still not ready to launch, then we can come back down. But at least I stacked a lot of odds in my favor, where if I'm going to get a breakout, it's going to be here. Now I just need the market to move in alignment with that. Okay, but that's the primary area that I'm looking at for XDC. Okay, some of the clues that I know that I'm more safer is I look at the foundational areas. How would the move started? It's these two areas right there, and it gives me quite a lot of room to play. If all price did was just hold its position, I can play until January 25th of January of 2025. So I really have I kind of have this strong clue based on the foundational area. And that's why I teach a lot about foundational key angles. You guys can use them to your advantage. Okay, so that's something that that's based on my current map. Does anybody need to see my other map, or are you guys okay with that? All it does is just show that we're sitting in the support, but you guys already know that support, 0.76. So. Next big moves up to 19 cents and then up to 38 cents. And then I have moves at 189 is which I really believe we're going to be getting to 189, $1.89. That's going to be absolutely insane to see a crypto move from 6 or 7 cents up to $1.89. That's about 2,000 or 3,000%, 3,000% in March of 2025. But it can hit that even sooner. I'm just showing you where it is on the map. Okay, above there, we remember House's Dream of $3. I have $300 here on this map, and 244, which was basically my $300 number. Okay, so I believe it's going to do really good. In a dream I had, when it hits 6 cents, it takes off. Okay, then when we hit some of the resistance, people say, should I take profit? And then I say, and then it goes off the map. But my highest part of the map is 300. So yeah, I hope it does well based on its current oscillations. Any other questions? XDC going once. pull up, type in XDC on our website, and it's going to pull up all those little commentaries I have for this. Okay, going once, going twice.
Jason?
Yes.
Sorry.
Hey, Paul.
Just 1 minute. I wanted to know, would you say that it's above that blue resistance right now based on where we are currently? Just curious if you think that it might dip down back into the like this range.
It already did. I don't think it's going to right now, but it already did. See right here in last week, December 16th week.
Yeah, we wicked down there. I didn't know if we were gonna retest and look at flows or anything. So, like I said, I'm just still learning. So
no problem. I really believe we got the close approximately where we're supposed to.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
If there's any more, if you look carefully at this structure, it's messy, right? It is messy. We're trying to get the essence of what really happens. You can further core cluster this area to see if your meat is here, and it may be. Okay. If the meat is there, we have wicks here, 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 that may suggest that the bottom is actually there. So if this doesn't hold and we start getting candle closes here, I'm still not going to be as concerned. Now, luckily for all of you guys, I already have that on my map as being that 6 cents area. You know, that's basically that area. So you could do some core clusters technique as I showed you before fellowship break, how to where to look for that tutorial. But basically, if you can identify that 6 cents area is the meaty part, which it probably is. See, there it is on the 2-week chart. There's the meat. Then you actually may be really looking for the pullbacks to that 6 cents. But again, it's already happened. So anybody who's buying it at 6 cents, in my opinion, you're probably getting a good deal. Okay, but you can see it's wicking here, but still coming back up to the main higher resistance areas. So that's a good sign that that you're still in alignment. Yeah, this is where it's more smoother. See, 2-week chart. Any other questions, comments, my thoughts? Jeff, I'm over my request, but I can add it to Saturday. Otherwise, if you let me go after class, I will maybe try to point something out to you. AVVTY, okay. Which is AB, Evolution AB, okay. I'll at least add it to my request and we'll see what we can do. Evolution AB, okay. All right, anything else? Lisa says in the comments, JSON next crypto FSN goes way back to 2018 with higher prices. Thank you. Okay, bye, Mr. Mullen. Went to work. Good. All right. Thank you very much. Triple J says lovely family. Nice pictures. Thank you, Michelle. All right. Since that's all the questions for Mason, your microphone is off. Did you have a question, Mason, about XDC?
Nope. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Okay. I'm filming live on location. The next one is FSN. Yes, son. Fusion? Is this the Fusion one? Oh, you got a little bottle. That's
Yeah, it's Fusion.
okay.
It was $8 in 2018.
Wow, it was $8 in 2018. Wow. Thanks, sweetie.
It was a confusion.
Let's see if we can find a chart that might show that move. Okay, here's the dollar. Let's see, on the Gate IO. Let's look at Coin EX. Nope. Crypto.com. There it is. So we're going to use our Crypto.com chart for our primary map. You guys are need to remember, I'm just going to take just 1 minute, please. Be patient. Some of these cryptos are linked to prices that are much higher. For example, Luna Classic. If you pull up any Luna Classic chart, it's going to be like 000 something. But you need to know at one time Luna Classic was trading at $180. $180. Don't believe me? Look it up. Okay. Some of these projects just show show price charts that are only showing recent territories. But you need to remember that there's people that lost money in this coin. You could say, well, how do we fall so far? Well, it was linked to some of the destabilization of UST and all of that story. When UST lost, they lost money and the value really crashed. But there are still strong holders there. And they have psychological levels that they're going to take profits. So if we can ever find the connection in the data or in the map, in other words, from those original buyers, those strong holders, some of those people back then you're going to understand a lot better where the psychological resistances are based on the price maps. So if Lisa says, hey, this was once trading at $8, that really rings me bell, because a lot of these maps only show us back from like here. Okay, so if you can find a coin like on crypto.com, they show the data full, but they don't show the volume on crypto.com. There's a little exclamation mark here. So we'll look at both charts, just one for the volume and one for the data. Now I'm going to pull up a weekly chart for this and we'll continue. But this one shows us trading at $12 here in April of 2018. All right, let's continue. I'm actually going to move to a 2-week and a 1 month because I have a suspicion about this crypto. Come. All right, I'm going to draw some of my star stuff, some of my star lines. 1 moment. Yeah, that was a big weakness that appeared on this chart here. That was a very large weakness. Yeah, you can see how much price was trying to hold on, spiking that high, but look at all the closes. They're still underneath here. This is like the whole USDT.D situation. You'll see prices spike really high, but the meat is still underneath the resistances. So if you know where those resistances are, especially in the long term, like USDT.D, you can still see that you're just holding on only to go down. Okay, this weakness is a huge weakness. So there will be people that will still be buying here, chasing these candles. That's why we wait for a lot of these candles to close on their time frames. But this is a monthly chart, so this plays out over a months. Then boom! Oh, why price fell out of nowhere? No, it didn't. It didn't fall out of nowhere. It was a game that was played over a long time. You just didn't see them playing it. Okay, I'm going to try to be a little more accurate and see if I can account for both of this, and then adjust these lines accordingly. This is some of my more experimental new stuff, my star method. For me, it's old, but because I'm adding some new things, it's new. Okay. This is an HB that needs to be dealt with, and it was dealt with there. Okay. HB here, and yeah, that's all. Okay. All right, I'm gonna include that part of your chart, even though I'm not teaching star method yet. I'm just showing you some things. Okay, I'm gonna do some more stuff about this chart. There's a resistance somewhere here, right about there, and it's based on this curvature. Okay, so I will include that. See if we collect all of these. Okay. Yep. All right. No, it's not right. Let me measure this again, one moment. That's right. Okay. So these smaller moves up here. This as a bottom is just a reverberation of something that's already happened, but the real meat of the support is actually down here. So I'm just going to omit that one for right now. That I just drew the one where I moved the reverberation up to these areas. That's something that has to occur, but it's not the end all be all. I believe the real support for this one is actually down here. Oh, sorry. The price for that is closer to 0.16 cents, and current price is 0.4. I also want to look at something real quick. Okay. All right, and the more immediate, I have some resistances that are more immediate, and I'm going to give them to you. There. Okay. Yeah, this should be a resistance at 0.2. And I'm going to check it some volume. But yeah, this one doesn't have my eye or attention or the health, in my opinion, that it needs to take and do some really, really big things. Let me get more down to the nitty gritty. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Who is this Encarnacion? Yeah, I really believe you're going to get down to 0.126. So this one, I think I'm going to stop here with this map. For right now, I am not bullish this crypto.
I think it's on a sword cut in a smaller time frame though.
We haven't even broke above its more recent watch line. Yeah, there's a more, like, even if I'm just measuring the down move for this one right here, it doesn't, like, for example, if what I mean by that is, if this is where price is going, we come down at these angles. There's a watch line here and a more immediate watch line here. And we're still not above there. So we still don't have any real health to, you know, cause us to really go here. And then based on some of my newer stuff, a lot of the data is pointing to here. Even if I were to take this area and do some of my star method stuff here based on some of these angles, it's still pointing me to these positions right there. It still keeps pointing me there. So I'm gonna say I would wait for this one. Okay, anybody have any other questions on my opinion? There is a sword cut closer to here, but it was already hit. Any of the smaller stuff, I think it's just smaller stuff. I think you're dealing with much more powerful oscillations. And remember, when you find some smaller, more powerful stuff, keep in mind, because you can be winning in the smaller game, but don't forget the big fish is in the pond. You know, it's like, oh, you know how to swim, that's great. But if you forget there's crocodiles, you can get in some big trouble really quick, really quick. Try to identify where those crocodiles are at and then jump in the water and be like some of these more brave locals, you know. They're really brave, but they're also smart. Okay. Any other questions? Bye, Paul. Merry Christmas. Anybody else have questions, comments for my FSN right now? I only want to look at some of the volume that might be identified. I like this ramping up in volume, but into weakness, it's not ready. They're going to try to, it may be being accumulated later on, and this move is in no demand, so we'd still need help, but nothing anytime soon. We still need to be in those areas. So 11 cents where you might start looking to get in, but I will I will highlight this. Okay. Any other questions, comments? I got some cryptos to go through. I would love to see this move on no demand into health, and then we can buy, but I want to get the health. All right. Let's go to SNX. SNX. Oh, good. Yeah, son. Oh, it's a car. My son's showing me a car. Okay, an older map for SNX. Let's revamp our map. I'm gonna include I'm gonna include this line for our star method. Here it is. Some of our star stuff. But other than that, I'm gonna redo this map because we need some new maps. Big watch line up here from this energy center down to here, right there. Let's bring that out, stretch it out. That's your big watch line or your big resistance. Some of the clues that this is correct, look at the cores in this area. They're closer to here, and we're hitting resistance along that track. So this is our phantom down here. If you guys were labeling it, you could, but your key angle's on top. Now, let's look at a few things. Okay, if this is hidden value, we need to deal with it flat. We did. This is concerning because there's some other lines I'm going to show you in just a few moments, but this is concerning because if you lose the health, you have a way to fall in this trend, which is still probably down. I like that strong, consistent volume in these down moves. It looks like some large buying is coming in, or had been coming in for quite a while. And then we pull it back down. So I'm going to look at the momentum. Let's look at the momentum on RSI. Ooh, I like it. I like it. We got RSI pullback on the higher time frames. That's this. Okay, look at, we pulled back the same. price is the same, that's in alignment or harmony. That could be good for higher prices when we get in higher prices. It indicates that a pullback might be hard. It's not the best pullback, even farther would be better, but as it is, it's pretty decent. Okay. Unending love, amazing grace, my chains are gone, I've been set free. In alignment, you guys were here earlier in my presentation. I did a demonstration on the mid-phantom principle twice already. I'm going to show you it again real quick. Okay, we can see that this is a bottom. 1, 2, 3 along that track, but then we get price disrespecting it. It could be, therefore, you're dealing with mid-phantom stuff. And when you do, all you do is take your distance on your top side, which there's your angles. So if I place it in the highest energy centers, here I get verification, verification. If I place it here, then these two are my verification. But either way, price can be verified forward and backwards. So there is my resistance. So if price is disrespecting, coming in and out, what am I dealing with? Mid-phantom. Most likely. That's a big clue that you're dealing with mid-phantom. How can I resolve that? How can I find out where price is going next? It's quite simple. Once you know you're dealing with the middle line and price is going in and out of that line, yet still respecting it, I can take, and especially if you get verifications, it's quite simple. Take the distance between there and there, your key angle and your mid-phantom, or your two phantoms, and then bring down the distance, and it's going to get you a good idea where support might actually be. So to do
Are we
this,
sitting on a sword cut?
no.
Or what do you call that? Not the gray line.
Step up.
A step up, yeah, because we crossed there. We're sitting on the support.
If my angle's off, but I don't
Or are
think
we below it? I don't know.
I don't think it's respecting sword cut right now.
Okay.
It's actually below it. Okay, so let's now take the angle. There we go. So therefore, our bottom may actually be there. So I would probably look for this one to possibly fall closer to $1.20. Current price is $2. And the breakout really needs to happen above 312. And both of that has some verification. It's very possible this has farther to go because of stuff in the past. But just as a baseline, this right now is, depending on what happens next, price has a higher chance of dealing with higher territories. Now, if we break out past 320, we can hit $6 in the next seasons. You know, here's January 27th, $6, closer to the end of January. Okay. That's possible. Here's January 27th, 606. Now, let me do one more thing. Good. Okay. Here's some of my star reverberations. Unending love, amazing grace, my chains are gone, I've been Adjust this just slightly. My God, my Savior, ransom me. And like a flood, in your series, unending love, amazing grace. I'm going to get you an accurate number, a very accurate number, because the clue is back here. I'm hitting this. This is some of my star stuff that I'm doing privately. Star method, a method I devised years ago before sword method, but it was not years before sword method, but before I was teaching, I was doing this stuff in the background. But I never taught you guys because there's too many lines and I didn't know how to teach it. Okay, I'm going to say there's a vortex at 666. Some of your favorite number, right? We need to get above there if we're going to go higher. And if we hit there, especially if we hit there in April, I'm going to be bearish this crypto because that will be on the underside of that vortex. In addition to all of that, if we're still going down and we get weakness underneath $1.12, we're going to be looking to fall all the way down there, closer to 49 cents. And that might be the next health. But it'd be actually really a large drop, a really large drop. There's a few other reasons that's the case, but I won't go farther than that. I will just show you there may be one more support, although I can't prove this because I don't have the fullness of the data, but we may have one more support somewhere along this track, and I'll give you a color green. Okay, and a price. So the big resistance may actually be here, and I'll just leave you these numbers. So these are my important numbers. I'll draw some pictures and we'll move on. Unending love, on the amazing grace, my chains are gone, I've been set free. God, my Savior, ransom me. That's going to be like a little bit of a delay territory because it's a health. It's a weakness, but also there's some health here. So we're just going to not really use that to short. Okay. And that's also going to give us some resistance a little bit higher based on that angle. Right, but as it is, this is where I have, and that's closer to $10. So right now I'm gonna wait until we get some clear breaking resistance above these areas. Any questions? SNX. Okay, I want to be above $3.12. I want to be below 122. I don't trust it right now. We may have some smaller support closer to here, but it's not my cup of tea in this downtrend. Okay. Alrighty, that's a map that can help you navigate. Take a screenshot while you have it. I'll leave it up on the screen. Okay. I'll try to hide myself. Wait. Okay, go ahead. Hi, Carol. Carol. How blessed everyone. Two more. and then I'll do USDT.D. We're going to look at STX. STX. After this, I'll look at PEPE, and then I'll show you some big updates on USDT.D. Looks like this one's $1.63. Let's look at it on Binance. $1.62 on other exchanges. Let's see how far Coinbase goes. Coinbase goes all the way back to 2022. And this one goes back to 2019. So, okay, we're going to use the Binance one. Make sure I click the plus button. If you guys have any questions, make sure you shoot them to my email. Do my best to try to get back with you guys. Yeah. Okay. On the monthly chart, this is going to be a real smooth. Angle. Ooh, yeah. Okay. All right, let's bring this conservatively down to those cores. I can be a little bit right there. Okay, so I'm going to draw a mid-phantom, see if we get some verification for mid-phantom or step-ups. Looks like price is respecting mid-phantom quite a bit here, and then on here on the bottom side, and even here the core. Look carefully. This is a monthly chart. I'll take a screenshot. You guys can look at that later. That's good. Step-ups even. Nice. Nice price respecting the step-ups where we cross over. Okay, right there. Wick, core. That's a good sign. Okay, the next step up is going to be back here. And that gives us a nice, this is a classic setup. This means this is a very strong oscillation. That's going to be clearly your top and clearly your bottom. Here's another step up. It's there. So therefore our flat. So if you wanted to do step ups, you got the wick side and you got core. So therefore this is a bottom here. That's what we're dealing with. That's a nice thing. That's a nice thing because this is rounding here. So we want to be rounding on the top to bottom. For sake of this episode in this crypto, I will draw the step ups here. I like to draw them when I see price respecting them. I don't always draw step ups analysis, but you guys can perform step up analysis. It's in lessons 1 through 16 on our lessons page as it's demonstrated earlier today. I'll even label it for you, just for some of you newbies. From time to time, I'll label lines. Step up. 0.130. 134. Sorry, $1.34 to $1.17 area. Okay, now.
Like I said, I told mom to hide it anyway, so when she gets
I would leave it again, not to do whatever, but she was talking about yellow red.
Okay, let me check the reverberations.
So.
And not really strong reverberation response. So in this case now I'm going to go to a smaller time frame, but I will draw some of the larger health and resistance. Hey, Ma.
Hey, I forgot you guys are here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, this looks good, Mom. Right? This looks so good. I couldn't resist.
Mom, want to say hi real quick?
No.
Yeah, come here real quick. Just real quick.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got people talking about
Yeah,
all the time.
I got my peeps. Hey, everybody, this is my mom.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hi.
I talk a lot about you. Wait, Mommy, say the thing where you say well. Huh? You say well. Well? No, like when you say well.
Well.
Well. How are you doing?
Good. What are you doing?
I'm just teaching the class. I'm almost done. I'm
sorry.
right here
Sorry
at the
to bother
end.
you.
Nah, I'll be out of your hair. And
You
is
guys
that
have a wonderful
Mom.
day. You be good.
is that tiramisu cake?
No,
Oh.
it's carrot cake with nuts and carrots and yeah. It's
See,
good.
we were debating the other day. Melody wanted another cake. She's like, I want tiramisu, but I also want the carrot. All right, we're almost gonna be gone. All right. Anyway, I'll give you guys some of these because I gotta go,
I gotta clean the fridge out.
and we're out of time for today. But here's some of the major lines I'll show you guys. I like where this is at, and I also like where it's at on the smaller time frame. So
Are you
take a
being
look in
good?
here.
Yeah, he was sleepy. You woke him up.
Oh, I didn't wake you up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Disrespect, but respect of the angle. Once here, let's zoom in. I'll show you even better view. Here's a 2-day chart. This is a good sign of where we're gonna go, but we're not there yet. It's not ready to launch. But when it does, look. Okay, so here's that whole mid-phantom theme for today. If price is building on here, yet disrespecting it, so here's the building, and then here's another building, but then we disrespect it. This is we're dealing with the mid-phantom. And you're going to see a lot of this when I start teaching star method. But basically it's there. So if that's your mid-phantom, then your real key is down here. Now we got verification that this is correct. Because if I hit this angle here, here, and here all along that track, all I have to do now is take the distance and bring it up here. So if price finds support back here at lower numbers, or based on or based on some of these support areas, if we do come up, then I'm going to be looking for us to hit along this track. Now, in this case, it may not be so lucrative because it looks like we already hit that. So let me just double check that. Oh, I can't wait to dump into that cake. Melody, was that cake for you? Oh yeah, look, it's still on the board. So in that case, there's still profit to be made. Closer to $3.23. That may put entries closer to here, but I'll give you guys that, okay? And that means that resistance is there as well. So I'll put those numbers up in the sky. All right, next one. Take a screenshot now while you can, as I'm out of time, guys. But I showed you. I said I was going to show you some USDT.D stuff. All right. Here's your PEPE. This is the one that's the classic, the OG PEPE that you guys have. Here's some of the resistances for PEPE. Along this track, we need the next breakout. We still don't have that next breakout. I would, if we're still in this territory. Now this orange line, by the way, that orange line is the tiger line. But that tells me looks like I'm going to be hitting resistance here. But it says if this is going down at the moment, the next support along the track is a sword cut here and the tiger reverberation. So this tiger I use as a tool to measure, and I can move that to those supports. That's why I have this orange line sticking out right here, because if I take my tiger line, it's giving me support there. So I will kind of like make this white so you guys can see that that's the support. Therefore, our vortex is closer to January 5th at 0001. So you don't really have any major things propping you up in this based on this tiger oscillation. Okay, flats may be active and you may be at a flat, but I don't think it's going to hold you up because we already got one bounce there already. Here's the bounce. If it doesn't hold. So it could hold. If it does, you're at a support. but you need this to hold. Okay. Any other questions, Pepe? I'll just draw this as a flat. There you go. Okay. I don't know if flats are fully active. It may be. And you need to perform flats analysis, and then it can help give you more evidence you're getting up there towards the 0.0004 or some of the higher numbers. Okay, so I'll put that there. Now, the next one, the last one for today, I have an update for you guys, USDT.D. Now here is an update for USDT.D. I need to make an adjustment for our pink line. Okay, I was doing this late into the night, and it's a combination of some of my star method lines and some of my other lines. Now some of my current map. Now of our current map, adjusting our pink line, I made it really thick. Our current angle is slightly lower, and it still gives us our 27 number that we have on our chart. It's all that 27 number. But I'm adjusting this slightly higher on the back end to account for, and I'm going to show you this. I think it's on the monthly charts right? Yeah, still on the monthly chart. This is a combination of some of my star lines, but if I take this bottom here, and I take this bottom here, and I take this as a wick, the first resistance is all of that underneath there. So we knew that. We got that move. Now the pink is a more combination of what's more immediately. This one's. So I got this one, which we already had, and this one, which is basically the pink line. But all I did was really just adjust it slightly to tilt it a little bit higher to see if I was still in alignment with the monthly stuff. So you remember those lines were blue last time, or a little marked the course with blue, and they're still very much in alignment. It's just slightly adjusted. Now, when I adjust it, I also am including this place here. Now that blue, it's a teal, that was one of our targets. So when we were coming down, we knew that that's where we were looking for price to hit and possibly reject. We did that back in 24 of April. All right, including this resistance. Pay attention. Pay attention, this is important. Counting for the adjustment just slightly up. Look where we're at right now for the month. We're still experiencing a lot of resistance at that price. Wait, where's my... Okay, let me move this off to the side. We're still experiencing a lot of resistances there, and the price that we need to close for the end of the month is 433. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer now so you can see it, but I will zoom out to accommodate that. So I'm going to type this word here, pink line, slightly adjusted higher, includes from March 1st, 2021. March of 2024, sorry, 2024 month. Days on December 23rd, 2024. Okay, so that's important. I deleted I deleted all the prices because they're getting in the way, but it's this line here. Okay, so draw this. Okay, draw. Okay, draw this. That angle. It accounts for here, 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 and here. Okay, those three. 1, 2, 3. So where we're at right now is we still have closes under here, and we want resistance here, right there. That's what we want. Now this is indicative that this is going to further go down, and that means we're still getting to our target. So nothing really has changed, but it allows for more breadth and still includes all the major meat of what's happening. So that's why I'm still not panicking the market, because when this chart goes down, cryptos go up primarily. So I want to see, is there still enough pressure along this 4.33% to keep me down? Okay, not keep me, but to keep the price down. And so far, it's still really accurate. Okay, so for this week, it's closer to 3.6. And this is a dynamic positive. That means that as time goes on, that number is going to go high. Do I have any other questions before I let you guys all go for today? See, as time goes on, here's 4.4. So the angle's slightly higher. I'm still very bullish the market. I'm still really bullish. And now we have round structure underneath this area, which tells us we're further going back to where we're going. Okay? And when we get here, this is going to be a very large bull run. Every time it's coming down, we're going up. And it's going to be a big run. So I'm still in position. I want to make sure I'm in position. I want to make sure you guys are in position. At least stacking the odds as best as you can, accounting for this. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? So that's my big update. I'm not really scared about this. If we go up tomorrow or something like that, the resistance up here is higher, and the number is 4.66. Okay, 4.66, 4.67. Okay, before that we even break the watch angle. So I'm not really in any healthy area. I'm not in that healthy area. This is going down, in my opinion. We're going down, in my opinion. And we're getting to 3.5, 3.4. And I have new maps from my other maps that I showed you guys this weekend where we're going to 2.82. Okay, 2.82. Closer to lower numbers, 2.8. And including just the demonstrations I did on this chart earlier, when I counted for the wick side, that's one way you can view that. But the new star method maps point to this area even lower as well. So this is the big decision time. I believe we're getting there, 3.5 to 3.3 area. I will hide my map, so I'll hide myself. Take a picture now. Any other questions? Alex?
Yeah, just
Alexander.
could you the date and percentage on that vortex with the key angle and the adjusted pink line?
The vortex in the green one?
Yeah, the green one and the pink
January 13th.
January 13th, and is that 4.4, 4.41 about?
Let me make sure I include that. Called out. So this looks like it's around January 13th week, 2025 vortex. Okay. That's 4.38. Yeah. 4.38, 4.39.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, my friends, on my take, my opinion on what's happening?
Likely to happen at that vortex?
If price does that, like for example, if we just stayed here today and pop there, then we can come down. Yeah, but the way that I'm going to be I'm really going to be really afraid to be out of any crypto because if we take a longer time doing it, then I'm going to be really like that. That's one way. If we come down now and come up to that vortex again, and we stop there on January 18th, then I'm going to be looking for another run that's here. But these ups and downs is going to throw people out of the market. They're going to really shake out people from the market. Every time they're challenging these moves, it's going to shake people out, and then it's going to move, and they're going to be like, and they're going to chase it, and it's going to come back down. Now we saw this in dreams 2 times prophetically, a curve up. I believe it's going to be either on the top side and then the bottom one, or it's going to be the bottom one and the top one. But I actually think personally, I believe it's the top one first on the top side, which is the 3.5% area. And then we're going to come up on a curve. As I saw it, XRP is going to come down on a curve from what I believe. And this may facilitate some of these runs here. But I believe it's like we come up on a curve of some sort, and then we come down one more time, and then we come even lower to spike. Bitcoin maybe XRP may hit $70. Bitcoin may hit that 200 or even the $1 million number. If it's in these seasons, if we can cover that, I don't know if that's all going to happen, but it may be just XRP's at the $12 number here. That's possible, or the $15 and Bitcoin 150,000. That's what Triple J believes, and she's probably right. But whatever we're at here, I'm going to be looking that one for that big move up, because I saw it in a dream that there's that white line here that's along this track. We blow past it. So I'm going to be looking for us to somewhere be below it so that we can. For that to happen, that means we have to be below that white line somewhere. So I really believe that the curve is going to happen, and then one more move down, one more bull run, and then boom, it's going to be a negative thing. And then we can talk about, you know, coming down even further, or something happen, or a big spike and throwing people off. But we'll have to watch the external stuff happening. Dinar could come in anytime, you know, and play a role. Lots of things could play a role externally. But as it is in the game, that's what I see. Okay, currently. Okay. Anyone else? USDT.D, my take. Yeah, Superfood wants to look at Caspa for the next show. Yeah. Okay. We'll be back on Saturday. I'm overtime, guys. I do apologize. My mom's here. I'm gonna say hi. I hope you guys have a great day. If you guys missed any of the parts today, these are what's going to be posted. I'm going to upload those image notes within 2 hours. And then also, if you missed the word room, nothing in today's video is going to be edited. It's just going to be available for you guys. So Melody's going to try to timestamp it for you guys. Yeah, CK says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. So celebrating Christmas. God, remember the reason for the season. Remember the reason for your worship to the Lord. Devote your heart towards Him. It's not about all the commercialism and presents and stuff that, or Santa Claus or any of that stuff that they make it about. He's the reason for the season. Unto us a child is born. The angels proclaimed it to the shepherds, and you can proclaim it to the world. Jesus is born. He's alive. He's here for a reason. Peace and goodwill to all men. Hallelujah. I love you guys. Bye, everybody. Bye, good. Jason, Merry Christmas. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Moira. Thank you, everybody.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Melody.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz
Love you.
Navidad. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody.
I joined you by wearing my leather jacket.
I'm rocking right now, yeah. Hello?